sites on interconnecting the entire country, now linking Visayas and Mindanao to our domestic fiber backbone. To connect the unserved and underserved areas in the country, this lives in the fiber of how Converge came to be. Knowing how essential connectivity is today and in the future, we're not just making
Recording in progress.
available to more Filipinos. We are giving them the lifeline they need and deserve. Now, the way we connect has never been this powerful. With everything we do in our lives, the world is becoming more and more connected. Converge provides more than just fiber internet. We give the lifeline for a future-ready nation.
It starts with a cause, a purpose, a dream. To do more. To be more. In the face of adversity, do we break down? Or should we break through? Should we be different? Or strive to make a difference? We rock. We have the power to create a better world, one step at a time. This is our revolution. I'm Juan Miguel Javier, an IT director, a farmer, and a rock star by heart. I am unbreakable.
Here's a warm hello from Eastern Communications. We're here to present a refreshing point of view that when it comes to delivering business communication solutions, it's time to bring back the human connection. As we do all we can to offer technology that is always solid and reliable, we never lose sight of our brand of personalized customer service. It's a connection that is both high-tech and high-touch. That's our strong connection. We are Eastern Communications.
We are an organization intensive in youth, in desires, and in a commitment to take great steps to live the values that unite us. We are a company that listens to a mission and has decided to respond daily to the call. We are Qualphone, establishing a welcoming and respectful workplace that affirms the dignity of each person, fostering the spirituality and unique contributions of each individual through our Mission at Work programs. Communication at Work promotes an open communication based on respect, mutual trust, and understanding of the mission, values, and plans of Qualphone. Learn at Work. Support employees through career development classes. Care at Work. Support an environment where the person trusts and support each other in a caring second family manner. But making people's lives better goes beyond employees. It also refers to employees' families and our communications through our Give at Work program. We support charities and establishments that provide assistance to the underprivileged. And Fun at Work, to keep our employees engaged through fun activities. Our mission is our call, and we share it with you so that our Strides values will be an explicit, concrete, and visible commitment to serve and love others. In order to be the best BPO values, we make people's lives better. Learn at work. Support employees through career development.
At Vivant, we embrace change because we know that to succeed, we need to be a strong partner. A partner who takes the time to listen and provide solutions that benefit everyone. Vivant's growth throughout the energy sector is a testament to our strategic relationship and our ability to adapt to a changing world. As we expand beyond power, our business model of foresight, cooperation, and adaptability will always push us forward. Vivant. Solutions for a changing world.
From chasing what makes me feel alive to making my way into the world. I am ready to make great strides towards my goal.
From juggling a busy life to choosing one that brings me joy. I am ready to go with what's best for me.
From realizing my potential to going after bigger investments. I am ready to secure my future.
Ako si Arnold Asis, ang may-ari ng R.I.S.E Agrimarts, at ito ang diskarte ko. One-stop shop kami for all gardening and farming needs. Nagbebenta kami ng pots, fertilizers, seeds, and greenhouse materials. Actually, before Lazada, I have to travel a lot to meet distributor kasi kailangan mo silang puntahan para makabenta ka. So, malimit, malayo ako sa pamilya ko. And kailangan talaga doble-doble yung effort mo para makabenta ka lang. Actually, hindi rin naman ako techie so wala rin ako masyadong alam sa online. And yun yung maganda kay Lazada kasi marami siyang tools. Nandyan yung Lazada University para lahat ng kailangan mong malaman, madali mong matututunan. And nandyan din yung community of sellers na very much willing tumulong lalo na sa mga bagong sellers. Hindi lang basta nakabawi yung business namin, mas lumaki pa siya ngayon. At kahit mas malaki siya ngayon, mas magaan yung trabaho namin kasi online na lahat. Huwag kayong matakot matuto at sumubok ng bago kasi andyan naman sa Lazada lahat ng kailangan nyo para mag-succeed ang business nyo. Lahat naman siguro tayo nakakapa sa sitwasyon natin ngayon. Pero sa halip na tingnan natin ito bilang problema, maganda siguro tingnan natin bilang opportunity upang mag-adapt at mag-evolve sa pagpapalaganap ng e-commerce sa Pilipinas. Kasi kung kaya ko, kaya niyo rin. Lazada.
Good day, passengers. This is your captain speaking once again. For the last 25 years, we at Cebu Pacific have been enabling everyone to fly. And it has been such an honor to have made a lot of travel moments with you. We have always been known to make the flight experience fun for everyone. And as the skies open once again, let us look back at our 8 shared milestones. What a great day to fly! On March 8, 1996, we made our first maiden voyage from Manila to our hometown Cebu. Then we took off for our first international flight, Manila to Hong Kong on November 22, 2001. Those were great times. Philippines, meet Piso Fair. March 2004, we pioneered the first ever Piso sale in the market. These Piso sales really made air travel more accessible for everyone. To connect more people across the archipelago, through September 2007 to 2016, we invested in high-capacity ATR turboprop aircrafts to serve islands that can only be reached by smaller planes. In 2013, we received our first and biggest aircraft, the Airbus A330, and sent it to our first long-haul flight from Manila to Dubai. Baby Haven came into this world via 5J015 Dubai to Manila, the first Seb baby born in flight. On our 20th year, we welcomed major changes, our new home, our new uniforms, and a brand new look in the skies. We even partnered with UNICEF for its Change for Good program. And last 2017, we flew our first 150 millionth passenger. Throughout our 25 years, we have celebrated countless wonderful moments with you, our dear passengers. I, your captain, together with Cebu Pacific family, can't wait to bring you back to the beautiful destinations you have missed. We're looking forward to more smiles ahead as everyone flies again.
The lines that connect us have never been this important. From the simple things that give us joy and hope to the ones we have to accomplish. There is a need to be connected to the things we do and to the people around us. The lack of a future-ready connection is what created us. From a startup in Central Luzon to what we are now, our purpose remains the same: to make everyone's online experience better. From businesses to public institutions to your homes and the entire country, we believe that digitalizing the Philippines empowers the people. We work hard to power micro, small, medium, and large-scale businesses to allow them to maximize their productivity with the latest broadband technology that fits their needs, to better connect them to their audiences and customers. Because we know the value of what education brings to every Filipino. Together with the Department of Education and local governments, we are connecting schools to teachers and teachers to all their students, providing reliable and fast internet. This helps build the future of the youth and the nation. Converge is empowering every Filipino household as the home becomes the school, the workplace, and the marketplace in one. With its pure fiber connection, Converge offers speed, stability, and reliability to meet the evolving needs of its residential customers, providing the best experience for their work from home, online classes, news and information needs, to seamless entertainment consumption, such as social media, movie streaming, music, sports, and gaming. Our customers' experience is at the forefront of our success. Going beyond their connectivity, we lead the way in product innovation, customer response, digital infrastructure, and network improvements. Because more than the connection, we empower. We empower you, the businesses that fill your needs, and the country's. We are focused in providing all our customers the best of what the internet has to offer, with true high-speed, pure end-to-end fiber connectivity. And we are making it available to every Filipino. breaking into an already established industry. It is the passion of our people to bring fresh innovations to Filipinos that sets us apart. The Philippines' need for better internet is evident by our exponential and unrivaled growth, boosting us to have one of the biggest IPOs in the country and transforming us into a world-class broadband provider with the Filipino consumer in mind. With our unparalleled growth, we set our sights on interconnecting the entire country, now linking Visayas and Mindanao to our domestic fiber backbone. To connect the unserved and underserved areas in the country. This lives in the fiber of how Converge came to be. Knowing how essential connectivity is today and in the future, we're not just making stable connections available to more Filipinos. We are giving them the lifeline they need and deserve. Now, the way we connect has never been this powerful. With everything we do in our lives, the world is becoming more and more connected. Converge provides more than just fiber internet. We give the lifeline for a future-ready nation.
It starts with a cause, a purpose, a dream. To do more. To be more. In the face of adversity, do we break down? Or should we break through? Should we be different? Or strive to make a difference? We rock. We have the power to create a better world, one step at a time. This is our revolution. I'm Juan Miguel Javier, an IT director, a farmer, and a rock star by heart. I am unbreakable.
Here's a warm hello from Eastern Communications. We're here to present a refreshing point of view that when it comes to delivering business communication solutions, it's time to bring back the human connection. As we do all we can to offer technology that is always solid and reliable, we never lose sight of our brand of personalized customer service. It's a connection that is both high-tech and high-touch. That's our strong connection. We are Eastern Communications.
We are an organization intensive in youth, in desires, and in a commitment to take great steps to live the values that unite us. We are a company that listens to a mission and has decided to respond daily to the call. We are Qualphone, establishing a welcoming and respectful workplace that affirms the dignity of each person, fostering the spirituality and unique contributions of each individual through our Mission at Work programs. communication at work. Promotes an open communication based on respect, mutual trust, and understanding of the mission, values, and plans of Qualcomm. Learn at work. Support employees through career development classes. Care at work. Support an environment where the person trusts and support each other in a caring second family manner. But making people's lives better goes beyond employees. It also refers to employees' families and our communications through our Give at Work program. We support charities and establishments that provide assistance to the underprivileged. And Fun at Work, to keep our employees engaged through fun activities. Our mission is our call, and we share it with you so that our Strive's values will be an explicit, concrete, and visible commitment to serve and love others. In order to be the best BPO, we make people's lives better.
At Vivant, we embrace change because we know that to succeed, we need to be a strong partner who takes the time to listen and provide solutions that benefit everyone. Vivant's growth throughout the energy sector is a testament to our strategic relationship and our ability to adapt to a changing world. As we expand beyond power, our business model of foresight, cooperation, and adaptability will always push us forward. Vivant, solutions for a changing world.
Chasing what makes me feel alive to making my way into the world. I am ready to make great strides towards my goal.
From juggling a busy life to choosing one that brings me joy. I am ready to go with what's best for me.
From realizing my potential to going after bigger investments. I am ready to secure my future.
Ako si Arnold Asis, ang may-ari ng R.I.S.E Agrimarts. At ito ang diskarte ko. One-stop shop kami for all gardening and farming needs. Nagbebenta kami ng pots, fertilizers, seeds, and greenhouse materials. Actually, before Lazada, I have to travel a lot to meet distributor kasi kailangan mo silang puntahan para makabenta ka. So, malimit, malayo ako sa pamilya ko. And kailangan talaga doble-doble yung effort mo para makabenta ka lang. Actually, hindi rin naman ako techie so wala rin ako masyadong alam sa online. And yun yung maganda kay Lazada kasi marami siyang tools. Nandiyan yung Lazada University para lahat ng kailangan mong malaman, madali mong matututunan. And nandiyan din yung community of sellers na very much willing tumulong lalo na sa mga bagong sellers. Hindi lang basta nakabawi yung business namin, mas lumaki pa siya ngayon. At kahit mas malaki siya ngayon, mas magaan yung trabaho namin kasi online na lahat. Huwag kayong matakot matuto at sumubok ng bago kasi andyan naman sa Lazada lahat ng kailangan nyo para mag-succeed ang business nyo. Lahat naman siguro tayo nakakapa sa sitwasyon natin ngayon. Pero sa halip na tingnan natin ito bilang problema, maganda siguro tingnan natin bilang opportunity upang mag-adapt at mag-evolve sa pagpapalaganap ng e-commerce sa Pilipinas. Kasi kung kaya ko, kaya niyo rin. Lazada.
May we request everyone to pause for a moment in silence. Let us all feel the presence of our Almighty God as we offer an opening prayer to be led by Trustee and Vice President for Business Advocacy and Policy of CCCI, Ms. Alice Queblatin.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the blessings that you have given us. We come to you in prayer, in our little spaces, as we gather today for a most significant event, the CBM Tourism Summit. We are pressed on every side by challenges never before experienced in our industry, and we seek for your guidance, wisdom, and inspiration. Make our discussions meaningful, interactive, and dynamic. Allow us to nurture a caring community as we listen, share, and make decisions beneficial for all. May you extend divine wisdom to our speakers so they may be able to impart knowledge and expertise to those who will need them. Bless the participants too, to be discerning and reflective, gain insights, all in the spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Remind us, dear Lord, that what we accomplish today is for your greater glory and service to the common good. We ask all these in your name. Amen.
Kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, kaya sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa likid mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kuyagan ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ko pagaw, ay hinatang tulang awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ang matawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtitigil, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang ay magtitigil. Luman ang araw ng walang pagsinta, mo'y langit sa piling mo. Ang hindi kaya ng pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industries Cebu Business Month 2021 Tourism Summit, live via Zoom and Cebu Business Month's Facebook page. My name is Bridget Mueller. It is my pleasure and honor to once again be your hostess for Cebu Business Month's online event. Today, we will be bringing to you our invited top-notch speakers from across private and public entities throughout the travel and tourism industries, and they will be sharing with us insights and strategic mechanisms to rediscover, invite, support, and engage and move forward for the revitalization of our tourism industry. Before we start, we would like to thank our sponsors who made this event possible. Our Omnibus Platinum sponsors, Cebu Pacific Air, Converge ICT Solutions, PLDT Enterprise, and Ride Hero. Our Omnibus Gold sponsors, Eastern Communications, Qualphone Philippines, Vivant Energy Corporation. Our Omnibus Silver sponsors, Ayala Land Incorporated, Cebu Holdings Incorporated, and Lazada Philippines. We'd also like to say thank you to our event sponsors, Topline Group of Companies, and Performance 360 Global Services. For event donors, we'd like to thank Cebu Cordova Link Expressway Corporation. And special thanks goes to RMA News, Pay-Per-Click PH, and Queen City, Cebu. Let me remind everyone of the session and open forum guidelines. Number 1, mute your audio at all times. And if you have any questions, type it in the chat box, which is found on the lower portion of your screen with your name and company. And please make your questions concise and direct to the point. If you have any questions for a specific speaker or panelist, kindly include their name in the question as well. Later on, we'll be raffling very exciting prizes for you, our participants. We'll be raffling 10 umbrellas from Aguila to be delivered in real time, and also one major prize, 1 Cebu Pacific domestic round trip ticket. So stay tuned, relax, and enjoy. These learnings are going to be awesome. To start off the program, to give us welcome remarks, I'd like to call on the vibrant and hardworking Vice President of the Cebu Chamber Cebu Business Mobilization, Mr. Michael Cubos.
Thank you very much, Bridget. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Mike.
May hapon sa tanan. I would like to welcome all and thank you for joining us in this Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry Cebu Business Month. Well, it's not month anymore. It's a year-long celebration. So good afternoon once again. And I'd like to acknowledge the Department of Tourism Secretary, Honorable Bernadette Romulo Puyat. We have here Department of Tourism Region 7, Regional Director, Shalomar Tamano. And our Mayor, Liluan Mayor and President of League of Municipalities of the Philippines, Cebu, Honorable Cristina Garcia Frasco. Our esteemed speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my distinct honor and privilege to commence this venture as we continue to pursue a safe reopening of Cebu's tourism destinations to encourage not only foreign tourists, but more importantly, our local tourists to patronize and appreciate what Cebu has to offer. As damaging as the COVID-19 pandemic has been and continue to be, the task before us now is to ensure that we do not simply return to business as usual, but that we focus on accelerating the pace towards achieving our goals. It is for this very reason that Cebu Business Month 2021 chooses to embody R.I.S.E forward, as our aim is to boost confidence and buoyancy of the local business community, particularly our MSMEs, by providing opportunities that promote, enable digital transformation, innovation, entrepreneurship, and creativity towards resilience and global competitiveness. This event is a testament to CBM as a trailblazer in uniting industry stakeholders, policymakers, businessmen, and academics for an interactive session of ideas, updates, and action plans to jumpstart a local tourism economy. If the tourism sector is to play its role in aiding Cebu's economic recovery in the wake of COVID-19, it must grow and transform. The efforts we make today will contribute to this sector growing. But beyond growth, it must also rise forward. As today's summit progresses, we are joined by our roster of powerful speakers as they call on stakeholders to rediscover, invite, support, and engage in the tourism industry. Today's discussion are geared towards accelerating the industry's recovery by capturing the emerging growth opportunities domestically, particularly the countryside, as we steadily rebuild tourist confidence. May this summit serve as a valuable occasion for all of us to come together and share ideas, learn from each other, and discuss strategies as we connect and generate more opportunities, grow our businesses, and create inclusive value for all. So on behalf of the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the CBM 2021 working team, I welcome you all to CBM 2021 R.I.S.E Forward Tourism Summit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair Mike Cubos, for those wonderful remarks. Next, to give us her inspirational message, it is my great honor and privilege to introduce you today to our distinguished guest. She is the mayor of Liloan, a first income class municipality located within Metro Cebu. First woman president of the League of Municipalities of the Philippines Cebu chapter and the national vice president for the Visayas of the League of Municipalities of the Philippines National Directorate. Under her administration, which is focused on sustainable and inclusive development, livability, and high quality of life for her constituents, Liloan was awarded the top Philippine Model Municipality in 2019 by the Manila Times. In the same year, Liloan was granted national awards as a top Philippine education hub for its successful scholarship program that has supported over 10,000 scholars. Top Philippine Retirement Haven for programs promoting meaningful and joyful aging among senior citizens, and top Philippine Wealth Center for business friendliness and proactive programs on infrastructure and economic development. In 2019 and again in 2020, the Department of Trade and Industry awarded Liloan the most resilient municipality in the Philippines, recognizing its exemplary performance in infrastructure, governance, social and environment systems. For Mayor Cristina Frasco's consistent efforts at ensuring good governance through innovation, connectivity, transparency, and anti-corruption measures, the Commission on Audit has thrice granted Liloan an unqualified opinion in 2021, 2020, and 2018, the highest audit rating the COA can give to a local government unit. Before being elected mayor in 2016, Mayor Cristina practiced as a lawyer in one of Asia's top-tier law firms, Romulo Babanta, Buenaventura, Sayok, and de Los Angeles as head of its Cebu office, specializing in international arbitration, litigation, and corporate law. She was also a law professor teaching international law at the University of San Carlos College of Law, and she advocates for the rights of women and children in Cebu and the Visayas. Mayor Cristina is a mother of 3, soon to be 4, and she's married to Cebu's 5th District Congressman, Duke Frasco. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to introduce to you the Mayor of the Municipality of Liloan, Honorable Cristina Garcia Frasco.
Maayong hapon kaninyong tanan. It is my pleasure to join you at this tourism summit that unites stakeholders and leaders in the tourism industry from the public and private sectors. Your engagement, interaction, and synergy here today will contribute greatly to Cebu's continued recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. While the Cebu Chamber of Commerce has kindly invited me to deliver an inspirational message at this summit, their proactive efforts at bringing together key players in the tourism industry and the positive response of stakeholders and participants in today's summit makes it abundantly clear that the motivation to fight for the survival and success of our tourism industry is more potent now than it has ever been. We all know and appreciate the value of tourism's contribution to fuel the engine of our country's economic success, and especially for those whose incomes and livelihood have been negatively affected by the pandemic. We all know how much is at stake in terms of the impact on human capital should the industry's revival lag. Knowing that I speak to an already inspired audience whose knowledge and expertise in the tourism industry far exceed my own, what I would like to offer today is the hand of collaboration in my capacity as Mayor of the Municipality of Liloan and as President of the League of Municipalities of the Philippines, Cebu, whose membership spans across the 44 local government units across the province of Cebu. It is my hope that by building bridges of collaboration through public-private partnerships in the tourism sector, opportunities for rebirth and growth can be created on the business, livelihood, and employment front that can only redound to the benefit of the multitudes of Cebuanos directly or indirectly involved in the tourism industry. The Local Government Code of 1991 elucidates the role of local government units in the development of the tourism industry by providing basic services and facilities that include tourism development and promotion programs and the regulation of tourism facilities and tourist attractions. Beyond theoretical policy statements, however, is the practical necessity of setting the proper foundation for the long-term success of any and all endeavors in the tourism industry, particularly with focus on two essential building blocks. First, the effective local government planning and implementation, and second, shared tourism governance by the public and private sector to ensure sustainable tourism. On the first essential building block, effective planning and implementation on the local government side necessitates focus on the crafting and strict implementation of zoning and land use regulations that enhances rather than degrades the long-term value of tourist destinations. Proactive and aggressive infrastructure development that provides quality access to roads, bridges, street lighting, and water systems, providing access to various modes of transportation by land, sea, and air, effective solid waste management and disposal, as well as heritage and environmental protection that ensures sustainable tourism development. Apart from the LGU's public investment programs, also crucial for long-term stability are the institutionalization of measures to promote the continued inflow of investments and the implementation of socio-economic programs to protect the interests of tourism stakeholders from tourism-related owners to suppliers to employees. In terms of increasing the investment potential of our tourist areas, especially in the islands, where the inalienability of public land continues to present unjust barriers to locals from owning land, as well as dissuade outside investment or further development, legislation promoting land ownership through land titling is essential. While subject of much debate in our country, there is no denying from developments we have seen in our ASEAN neighbors such as Singapore, Japan, and South Korea that existing constitutional restrictions on foreign ownership of land the easing of these restrictions has massive potential for the influx of foreign direct investments, creating more avenues for tourism-related opportunities for both capital and labor. In terms of socio-economic protections for tourism stakeholders, the importance of government intervention has become even more imminent now in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic that resulted in massive losses across the board, from resorts to airline, land, and sea providers to tour operators, and caused so much suffering, hardship, job loss, and lower income for the industry's employees and suppliers. Among these government interventions include emergency employment programs, medical and financial assistance programs, emergency capital investment programs through subsidies for business, tax credit programs, and the like. The enactment of investment codes granting incentives for tourism-related businesses could also greatly encourage capital investments into our towns and cities. The second building block towards setting the proper foundation for the long-term success of the tourism industry is in shared governance by the public and private sector to ensure sustainable tourism. While tourism's contribution to our economy is undeniable, we have also seen its propensity to adversely impact local communities and the environment. Since we all envision the long-term success of the tourism industry, I think we can all agree that sustainable tourism development is the only way forward. According to Richard Butler, the leading researcher on the evolution of tourist destinations, destinations wanting to promote sustainable tourism are more likely to be successful where there is effective local governance. Indeed, with tourism activities generally being at the local level, local governments are strategically positioned to regulate or mitigate the potential effects of tourism-related activities. To prolong the life cycle of a tourist destination, Butler further suggests that sustainable tourism policies need to be integrated with wider economic, social, and environmental policy considerations within an overall sustainable development framework. We must therefore look to the basic elements of sustainable development as our guideposts in the revival and continued recovery of the tourism industry in Cebu, namely, ecological sustainability, economic sustainability, and equity. Vital to the successful application of these basic elements of sustainability is the translation of these theories into practical and actual application on the ground. This is where the importance of shared tourism governance by the public and private sector comes in. From both the national and local government side, it is essential to recognize and acknowledge the value of tourism stakeholders, both in the community and the tourism sector, from policy planning to grassroots implementation. Through its local chief executives, local government units can drive a sustainable development agenda within their tourist destinations while empowering the private sector, local community, tourists, and other stakeholders through inclusive and strategic coordination, education, consultation, and consensus building from planning to implementation. The goal being to adopt sustainability as a way of life, such that government regulation can eventually give way to self-regulation by communities cognizant of the value of natural resource preservation. Through a well-coordinated and collaborative approach towards harnessing the potential of our tourism destinations and revitalizing the tourism industry as a whole, we can all be assured that sustainable tourism development is translated from theoretical principles into concrete action that not only assures long-term progress and profit, but most importantly, protects the beauty and integrity of our natural environment and uplifts the quality of life for all. I wish to express my gratitude to the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and to all the tourism stakeholders and participants of this tourism summit for the opportunity to extend the hand of collaboration to the tourism industry. It is my hope that through proactive local governance and shared tourism governance, tourism can continue to be a force for good towards economic recovery and sustainability for the benefit of Cebu and our country, for the Cebuanos and our fellow Filipinos now and in generations to come. Daghang salamat kaninyong tanan.
Thank you so much, Mayor Frasco, for the very inspiring and insightful message. Through your progressive leadership, Iloan has been a shining example of an LGU that has maintained resilience, stability, and safety throughout the pandemic. Now, allow me to introduce our keynote speaker. Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat is a product of the University of the Philippines, where she graduated cum laude for a bachelor's degree in economics. She also pursued her master's degree in economics at the same institution. From 1994 to 2006, she was a lecturer at her alma mater. She served as an economic consultant to the Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council from 2001 to 2002, and to the presidential management staff from 2005 to 2006. Furthermore, she served as Deputy Cabinet Secretary at the Office of the President in 2006. In 2007, she was appointed Undersecretary at the Department of Agriculture, where she handled special concerns, administration and finance, and agribusiness and marketing. Additionally, she headed various teams and committees on rural credit, trade and investment promotion, development assistance, international cooperation, organic agriculture, and gender and development. In May 2018, She was appointed Secretary of the Department of Tourism. Her focus is on sustainable tourism, increasing investments in the sector, enhancing programs for tourism infrastructure, as well as product and market development. Friends, please help me welcome DOT Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat.
Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry President Felix Tagiam, Ms. Bridget Mueller, CBM 2021 Tourism Chairperson, officers and members of the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, maayong adlaw sa inyong tanan. The Department of Tourism thanks the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry for this invitation to speak at the Cebu Business Month Tourism Summit. I salute your initiative to bring together industry stakeholders, policymakers, members of the academe, and other concerned entities to discuss new ideas, fresh opportunities, and innovative solutions to revitalize the hospitality and tourism industry in Cebu after the difficulties brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. This health crisis was a major setback for the country's tourism industry, which had been on a steady upward climb since the enactment of the Tourism Act of 2009. From welcoming only 3 million foreign tourism arrivals in 2009, we greeted 8.26 million foreign visitors in 2019. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic last year, we experienced a sharp drop, which reverberated throughout the industry as tourism and hospitality establishments were moved to scale back their operations or worse, shut down during the pandemic. With tourism being a critical piece in our country's economic value chain, it generates investment, foreign exchange, employment, and inclusive social development. We must do all we can to bring forth our recovery through always in a safe and responsible manner. In the latter part of 2020, after we had drawn up our tourism response and recovery plan and secured support from the national government through Bayanihan 2, the industry's recovery got underway with the reopening of select destinations and the creation of tourism bubbles or green corridors. However, our momentum slowed earlier this year as COVID-19 cases once again began to climb in NCR+. This demonstrates the continuing volatility of the situation and how we must prepare our industry for any type of disruption in the future. It cemented our perspective that the long-term goal should not merely be to recover, but to make our industry better, stronger, more resilient, and more sustainable. Our goal is not to transition to the new normal, but to rise above it and attain a better normal. Over the past few months, we have made it clear that we aim to revive the tourism industry through a big push for domestic tourism. Our unwavering confidence in local tourism is not without basis. In 2019, we recorded 110 million domestic trips. Without question, the market is there. We believe that this can be matched in the new normal, but we must first convince potential tourists that domestic travel can be safe and convenient even during a pandemic. We have addressed these concerns by issuing guidelines that all tourism-related establishments must strictly comply with. We are also working with LGUs all over the country in order to simplify or standardize the requirements for domestic travelers, making their journeys as convenient as possible while conforming to globally accepted health standards. Many nations are ramping up their vaccination efforts, and it is inevitable that more international borders will be reopening for tourism. That will, of course, be a big boost for our industry. But until that time arrives, we are also taking the opportunity to discover, explore, and develop what our own islands have to offer. The Department of Tourism is committed to the continuous improvement of our local destinations. developing them in an inclusive and sustainable manner, and promoting them effectively as part of travel in the new normal. Regarding product and market development, our regional office has the following programs for Cebu and other parts of Central Visayas region, which are in varied stages of implementation, planning, or development. We have the Culinaria sa Norte Culinary Tour, a 2-day tour in Northern Cebu that offers guests an immersive travel experience with food, nature, and culture. We have the food mapping of Northwestern Cebu and Bohol for the development of food tourism circuit. Panao sa Pagtuo, Balaanong, Bahandi sa Central Visayas, a pilgrimage tour of the region's historic churches, Metro Cebu Marian Pilgrimage Tour, Metro Cebu Museum Tour, a development and creation of a regional MICE network, development of farm tourism and wellness circuits in Central Visayas, creation of a regional dive development program including visits or dives in Mualboal, Panglao, Malapascua, Dawin, Lapu-Lapu City, Alegria, Sambuan, and Santander with the PCSSD, Central Visayas Eco-Tourism Loop in the 9 protected areas in the region, and the development of an al fresco taste and tour circuits in the light of the changing dining preferences during the pandemic. Supplementing these projects are the DOT's capacity building programs for tourism stakeholders and workers across a wide range of sectors. It's a comprehensive list, but as I always say, our programs can only succeed and become sustainable if they are implemented with the full cooperation of the respective LGUs, private stakeholders, tourism workers, and members of affected tourism communities. It's why your theme for this summit is Rise Forward, is relevant and well chosen. There really is no going back, and we must only focus on building a better future. On that note, I would like to thank the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry for this opportunity to grace this event. Please stay safe, daghang salamat, at mabuhay po kayong lahat.
That was the Department of Tourism Secretary Berna Romulo Puyat's keynote speech. Thank you, Secretary Puyat, for sharing with us the DOT's programs and initiatives in providing opportunities to rediscover, explore, and develop what our islands have to offer through continuous improvement of our local destinations to develop an inclusive and sustainable tourist destination and promoting them effectively as part of the travel in the new normal. Thank you very much. Our next speaker will be presenting a Cebu Tourism Situation Report for 2021 and will also share insights on what to expect for 2022. Shalimar Hoffer-Tamano heads the Department of Tourism, Central Visayas Regional Office, which covers the provinces of Cebu, Bohol, Negros Oriental, and Siquijor. As RD, or Regional Director, he works with the local government units and regional offices of other national agencies and tourism stakeholders with the region to implement the policies and programs of the department. He puts emphasis on ensuring the safety and security of our tourists in the region by working closely with the law enforcement agencies, and also focuses on growing the tourist market for Central Visayas, as well as diversifying the tourism products and ease of movement within the provinces and in the region. R.D. Tamano is a Paul Harris Fellow of the Rotary International. He was previously elected as a member of the Board of Directors of the Rotary Club of Makati, which oversees policy and management of the club, and is a representative to the Makati City Council for the Protection of Children. Commissioned in 2013, he is an Army Reserve officer with the rank of Major in the Philippine Army of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. A black belt member of the Philippine Judo Association, R.D. Tamano competed in 2012, 2013, and 2014 in Hong Kong at the Hong Kong International Judo Tournament. In 2014, he bagged a bronze medal in the Philippine National Games. Please help me welcome the Department of Tourism Regional Director, Shalimar Hoffer-Tamano.
Thank you, Ms. Bridget Mueller, Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat, Mayor Cristina Frasco, Chair Michael Cubos, Ms. Alice Cablatin, fellow speakers and panelists, ngayong hapon kanatong tanan. The regional office has accredited 1,700 primary and secondary tourism enterprises and individuals as of May 31, 2021. We have rolled out the World Travel and Tourism Council's Safe Travel Stamp and have awarded 30 accommodation establishments in the region. Currently, we are also campaigning for the use of the Safety Seal certification program, which promotes and encourages the primary tourism enterprises such as accommodation establishments, travel and tour services, MICE venues, as well as restaurants inside the accommodation establishments to conform with the minimum public health standards and the adoption and use of the Stay Safe PH application. DOT-7, with its regulatory function on accommodation establishments, is part of the Task Force on Management of Returning Overseas Filipinos. We are assisting 48 accommodation establishments, which are temporary quarantine and multi-use facilities with 3,995 rooms. Since this started in June 2020, we have assisted around 80,000 plus Filipinos. Our airport personnel have been fully utilized for these operations. In the past months, we had several tourism activities in the region. The regional office is currently conducting the first Dive 7 Summer Dive Festivals. We accomplished several legs of the dive festivals, which were held in Mualboal, Malapascua, Lapu-Lapu City, and just last week in Panglao, Bohol. With these activities, we were able to engage with the LGUs, our governors, our mayors, our local dive industry. We sponsored courses on Discover Scuba Dive for adults and bubble makers for kids. We also had underwater and coastal cleanups in collaboration with the DANR. A one-stop shop was also set up with the Maritime Industry Authority or Marina and the Philippine Coast Guard for accreditation and other services. Our mga unta Cebuanong luto sa 500 katuig online forum which celebrates the growth and influence of Cebuano cuisine in the last 500 years was able to reach 1.6 thousand viewers with more than 100 shares in the first 3 days. We also conducted the Tourism Portfolio Management Workshop for our junior officers. Our tourism industry skills program personnel also conducted the basic Mandarin language course training for our tour guides aside from our other trainings, and a series of data gathering trainings for the region's tourism officers and representatives of accommodation establishments conducted in the months of April and May. The office is conducting a study revisiting domestic tourism and its implication to product development in Central Visayas, which would look into the market destination governance dynamics under the new normal operations to be able to innovate tourism products and maintain the region's competitive edge. To provide knowledge on the formulation of tourism development plans and integration of the tourism response and recovery plans to LGUs and concerned stakeholders, the regional office is conducting rollout of Tourism Development Guidebook, mentoring and coaching tourism development plan formulation, both physical and virtual. We are also monitoring the implementation of tourism development plans, recovery programs for our provinces, cities, municipalities through virtual consultations. To continue the efficient and effective collection of tourism data by accommodation establishments and LGU, the necessary trainings to capacitate the concerned partners are being conducted. We are also working with the LGUs in ensuring that health and safety protocols are embodied in local legislation crafted for the reopening of tourism to ensure the safety of tourists, tourism workers, and of course, the community. We have lined up several activities on market and product development for the rest of the year. Food mapping in Cebu and Bohol, Panaw sa Pagtuo, Balaanong Bahandi sa Central Visayas, Metro Cebu Marian Pilgrimage Tour. This will be a Marian pilgrimage right in the heart of Metro Cebu. Metro Cebu Museum Tour, the development and creation of a regional MICE network, weddings in Bohol, and other possible events in the future. We will also foster partnership and connectivity between the different suppliers, organizers, and industry stakeholders through workshops, meetups, meetings to discuss the latest trends and updates in the wedding industry. Farm for Fitness, a mountain to sea circuit to wellness. We're in the process of developing farm tourism circuits in the region by conducting resource mapping and documentation of the farms in the 4 islands of the Visayas. Cultural tourism, Filipino Martial Arts Heritage Caravan. This program aims to develop FMA heritage trails in Cebu, highlighting the battlegrounds and the diverse FMA systems in Cebu and the region. Our Regional Dive Development Program, our Central Visayas Ecotourism Loop, and Alfresco Taste and Tour Circuits. In light of the changing preferences of dining guests during the pandemic, the regional office has set forth to make an inventory and mapping of restaurants with provisions for outdoor dining and document its salient features in preparation for the development of alfresco dining circuits in Cebu. Daghang salamat sa pagpaminaw.
Thank you, Director Tamano, for sharing your valuable insight, knowledge, and expertise. We look forward to the revitalization of Central Visayas' tourism industry with your help. Our next speaker is a COO of the 7-star safety certified Cebu Pacific, which is celebrating its 25th year. Alexander Xander G. Lau joined Cebu Pacific Air in 2007 when he served as a Director for Revenue Management and Pricing. In February 2012, he was appointed as the Vice President for Commercial Planning, successfully overseeing the expansion of the airline's network to its current 62 domestic and international destinations. In August 2019, Xander was selected to lead the airline's Corporate Strategy Office to ensure sustainability of the business as its Chief Strategy Officer. Xander was named President and CEO of SEBGO, Cebu Pacific's wholly owned subsidiary, in September 2016. As Cebu Pacific progressively acquires 16 ATR 72600 high-capacity aircrafts, he will lead the development of the airline's intra-island services to meet the growing demand for local air travel in the Philippines. To talk about the future of Philippine travel, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Xander Lau.
Maayong hapon, everyone. I hope you can hear me quite clearly. First of all, thank you to the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry for inviting us here today to make a short presentation. If we can go to the next slide, please. I think it's very obvious that one of the hardest hit industries in the world was really the transport and tourism industries. Due to the various lockdowns and really a slowdown in economic activity, global recession was declared by the International Monetary Fund. From an airline perspective, the number of scheduled flights throughout the world was down by 42%. And in fact, in some areas, flying was actually down close to 90%. In the second quarter, for example, of 2020 versus that of the second quarter of 2019. Airlines in the Asia Pacific were badly hit and lost close to $32 billion in 2020 and are expected actually to lose again another $7.5 billion this year. Cebu Pacific was unfortunately no different and suffered record losses in 2020, with 2021 not necessarily looking any better. And finally, I guess holidays and vacations also dropped to third place worldwide. as top expenditures slowed down. Next slide, please. But in spite of the pandemic, or in spite of the hit, we believe that the aviation sector is still a very key contributor to the Philippine economy. Quite sensible given our 7,000 plus islands and tourism being a major economic contributor in the Philippines. So in terms of value, as just an example, for every dollar that the industry generates, there is another $6 that related sectors create. And again, the biggest value creator in this chain is really the tourism industry. In terms of total jobs, though, and however, for every air transport sector, for every job that the air transport sector creates, another 26 other jobs in related sectors are created. So you can see that the job multiplier from the aviation industry through other industries is 1:26. And primarily, again, the beneficiary is the tourism industry. So it was quite a shock that last year there were quite a number of job losses in the aviation sector, and we believe that other industries had suffered the same. So if we can go to the next slide. So where is the Philippines in Southeast Asia and in reality the world? Now the markets have gone ahead in terms of their vaccination programs, including the United States, the United Kingdom, United Arab Emirates. You can see in this slide, you can see that they're on the rightmost side of the chart, of the upper table. So while this chart, a bit busy, shows the 30 largest domestic markets throughout the world in terms of airline passengers. The x-axis or the horizontal axis shows the number of vaccinations per 100 people, while the y-axis or the vertical axis shows that the share of domestic passengers in terms of total traffic. So you can see the Philippines, that number of green dots here because that represents Asia. But you can see the Philippines on the leftmost side. 40% of our total traffic within the Philippines was made up of domestic passengers. But you can also see that in terms of our vaccinations per 100, we're roughly at around 10. You can see as I mentioned earlier, you can see on the right-hand chart, US, the UK, and the UAE have gone ahead quite quickly in terms of their own vaccination programs. You can see then on the lower left-hand side of this slide that the Philippine recovery in terms of air travel has been quite slow. You can see, for example, Vietnam, compared to their pre-COVID levels, is already above. They're already at 105% of pre-COVID levels, whereas the Philippines, unfortunately, is only at 13%. To be fair, this has improved over the last few months as confidence in the Philippines is improving primarily because of a number of things. First and foremost, we believe that the Philippines has secured a sufficient vaccine supply for its population. In fact, we are only one of 3 countries within Southeast Asia to have done so. The Philippine government, along with the private sector and the local governments, have secured roughly 220 million doses in the pipeline, more than enough to cover our 103 million population. I think we think that the second bright spot is really the gradual reopening of non-essential travels, specifically to Cebu, Boracay, Siargao, and the like. So we believe that is also, subject to certain conditions. That is also quite a bright spot and is once again improving traveler confidence. So next slide, please. Ultimately, we think that like other countries, the domestic market will lead the recovery. Today, Cebu Pacific operates to 32 domestic routes and 10 international routes. We're operating roughly 14 destinations to and from Cebu, and with Manila Cebu operating at 5 times a day. Now, that's still a very far cry from our previous operations. We used to fly into Cebu from Manila maybe 15 to 16 times a day. We flew over 500,000 domestic passengers in the first quarter. And obviously, as we fly a bit more, we also airlifted 365 tons of PPEs, test kits, and medical supplies all over the Philippines for free. But I think the most important part here is how has the industry, or how does the industry contribute to the recovery, to the tourism recovery? And one of the things that we believe which will help the Philippines recover much more quickly, is the vaccination program. So Cebu Pacific has already safely transported 8 million doses of vaccines to the Philippines. In fact, today we received 2 million of those doses earlier today. And we've also transported throughout the Philippines close to 1.8 million doses across 16 domestic destinations. So if we go to the next slide, and really the question is, what's ahead for Philippine tourism? Now, what do we think this new normal is going to be like? So if we go to the next slide, we think that health will be a primary consideration. In fact, in our recent surveys, travel requirements and considerations are first and second. But frankly, these things we believe will go away as the vaccine program rollout continues. But safety and security will continue to be a concern, whether it's driven by new variants or heightened awareness because of the pandemic. While safety has always been high in the priority list of the airline, health considerations have become substantially more important for our customers. Part of our own changes is trying to introduce contactless flight experience, whether it's through web or digital check-in, increase aircraft disinfection, or putting PPEs for our frontliners. The next slide is another customer behavior we believe that will change. We think that flexibility is going to be quite important for our customers. So we think that a couple of things. Longer stays will be the norm in this work from home setup, or work from the beach, or work from the hotel setup. We think that people will stay longer in these destinations. We think also that there will be a bit more immediate near departure travel, given the changes in regulations. In fact, Boracay is probably a good example, which opened up in maybe June 1st. Then all of the airlines had to scramble to see whether we could fly there or not. But you will see that there will be a number of regulatory changes within the short term. So flexibility is certainly going to be a requirement for our customers, and it'll be an expectation, in fact. So in response, the company, or Cebu Pacific, has permanently removed its change fees, as well as introduced a product called CEB Super Pass. Whereas in the past, our seat sales, you had to have a specific destination in mind. This time, the CEB Super Pass allows you to choose whatever destination you may want to travel into the network. The next slide will show another key consideration for customers. And really, that's going to be about sustainability. Is the company, or our companies, doing enough to contribute to the environment? We at Cebu Pacific have made investments in our fleet. In 2019, we announced a substantial investment in refleeting as we move from our Airbus CEOs to our Airbus NEOs, or new engine options. So this year alone, we've taken delivery of 2 A321neos. Now, the benefit of those neos are both economic, obviously, 20% fuel savings per trip, but also environmental. Definitely less carbon emissions because of the more efficient engines, as well as a 50% reduction in our noise footprint. We've also made investments in digitalization, which is obviously more efficient, but also environmentally friendlier. In the past, we may have asked for multiple pieces of paper when you were going to check in, but today, given that it's digital, we are actually saving quite a bit of paper. So we've also introduced some Charlie the chatbot, again, the contactless customer experience that I spoke about earlier. We've also mounted some of our hybrid flights. So basically, instead of flying 2 flights to carry the same amount of cargo, we've now enabled, cargo in cabin. So instead, we're now able to carry an incremental 4 tons per flight, for example, on our A321neos. But in fact, we also have a 330 freighter that can, in theory, carry as much as 50 tons of cargo to and from. So instead of flying, again, 3 or 4 flights, we might be able to do it in 1 flight. And lastly, I think something that Secretary Puyat had spoken about earlier, the next slide shows that we truly believe that if the government is able to successfully roll out its vaccination program, we believe that domestic tourism will recover first. So based on the Nielsen survey, a greater number of passengers are wanting to take domestic flights, no? And are actually keen to travel within the next 6 months. No? We believe that international travel, though, will lag, no? given a number of factors. No? One of which is the complexity in regulations, no? And also the pandemic has had a negative economic effect on consumers and the middle class. No? So people will be looking for more affordable travel options in the near future. No? Certainly there will be a lot of revenge travel, but cost, we believe, is going to be a primary consideration. So let me then leave you with this video. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary this year. And while we hope the situation was much better, we're quite confident that the tourism industry will bounce back relatively quickly. So let me ask the team to just play the video quickly. Thank you. Yeah, the video has no audio. Maybe I can ask Big Seed, please. All right. My apologies for the technical difficulties.
We miss the times when we could fly to fun places painted with color. Our country has a lot to offer, and Cebu Pacific has been helping people live their adventures for 25 years. Now, it's time for everyone to fly again. Fly safely, travel responsibly, for more smiles ahead.
So with that, once again, my many thanks to the Cebu Chamber of Commerce. We hope to paint the skies yellow with everyone once again. Daghang salamat, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Xander, for sharing your valuable knowledge and expertise on the future of Philippine travel. And thank you for also sharing Cebu Pacific's best practices and how it has adjusted to travel under the new normal. And congratulations on your 25th anniversary. Given the unprecedented impacts of COVID-19 on tourism and the wider economy, this sector is unlikely to recover fully in the foreseeable future, even if the virus is contained. It is clear that this pandemic will reshape the travel and tourism industry, while sustainability considerations will have to embrace the new dimension of safety. Our next speaker, an internal medicine and infectious disease specialist, will be discussing and sharing with us his expertise on how to build a pandemic-resilient tourism sector. He graduated in UP College of Medicine for MD and took a specialty training in internal medicine and infectious diseases at the Philippine General Hospital. He is a board member of the Philippine College of Physicians, Central Visayas, Chonghua Hospital Mandaue, Research Coordinator, Infection Control Chair for the Visayas Community Medical Center, South Gen, North Gen, and Maayo Clinic. He's also a medical specialist and a two-time Vicente Soto Assistant Professor, and also an IBS consultant for Project Balik Buhay and the the Emergency Operations Council. His awards include Esteemed Individual for Cebu City for services during the pandemic. He's also one of the 10 outstanding students of the Philippines and one of Asia's 21 young leaders, a fellow of Asia Society. He's one of the young physician leaders of the Inter-Academy Medical Panel and the World Health Summit. He was also awarded the Stars for Global Health Grantee of Grand Challenges Canada. Friends, please help me welcome Dr. Brian Albert Lim.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you, Bridget. I apologize for my hair, just got out from doing rounds. Thank you. And truly, and this pandemic has done a lot of crazy things. And one good thing that came out from it, I think, is I've learned to appreciate our local tourism sites. And what has kept me sane throughout this year of craziness is going to the province and going to Mactan and just enjoying the beach and the beautiful nature that Cebu has to offer. And of course, there's so many good food also. So allow me to share a few slides on my thoughts in building a pandemic resilient tourism sector using the perspective of an infectious disease specialist. So, but before we do so, I think there are certain realities that we need to accept and to include as we create or perhaps modify our long-term plans for the tourism sector. Okay. Now, the first thing that we need to fully accept is that pandemics are part of our reality. This COVID-19 pandemic has taught us that our species are forever vulnerable to the forces of nature. And because, the influenza pandemic in the 1900s and the bubonic plague in the 1600s, we seem to have forgotten, and we should be. So at times, we have assumed that we are invulnerable to all of these forces, but we aren't. And as a matter of fact, pandemics now will become more common, I think, in the next future. And WHO has even declared it as a top concern in the next years to come. Eventually, because of this, there's a lot of spillover, there's a lot of opportunities of these viruses and bacteria that are found in nature to spill over towards our species, essentially because of the way we treat nature. Bats and other wildlife harbor with them a lot of viruses and pathogens. A lot of these viruses don't really kill these organisms or these animals, but when they get in touch with domesticated animals, then these viruses and bacteria and other pathogens can spill over. And because of the way we treat our domestic animals, can you imagine if you are a chicken in a chicken farm, there's no place for you to go around, You're just you coop up in a very crowded environment. And if there is a chicken who is sick with the flu, it can easily cause an outbreak. And then when potential workers interact with these animals, then the virus can potentially spill over and this can lead to pandemics. And in most cases, all of these pandemics that we have in our history is really caused by these organisms, what we call a zoonosis, organisms that are originally from animals and spilled over to our species. And then the next thing that we need to really accept is it's always a constant race between evolution and innovation. And to be truthful, we are now talking about viruses and variants and vaccination. And a few words about the variant is, I always see the viruses as, parang siyang chismis. The more that you pass on the chismis, the more it changes the story. So your first story from the start and later on it changes. Because each time chismis is passed on, there is dagdag bawas. There is minor errors, and a lot of these errors can accumulate. And later on, it can lead to versions that are more dangerous. And these are the variants of concern. And even if we are able to vaccinate everybody, and of course, it's always a constant race. And currently, the studies of our vaccines, even if there are new variants, most of the vaccines are still effective against the variants, but to a lesser extent. So just to flash you, we have the alpha, beta, and gamma, and delta, and these are the variants of concern. But for me, this is not really, of course, we need to be very cautious about these variants. But at the same time, we need to accept that these variants will forever be there, and there will be newer variants in the future. So we cannot just forever hide in our homes. No, we need to live with it. We need to live with the virus, and we need to balance health and economy. Of course, it has been now a cliche on how to balance health and economy, but really, it can be done, and we have done that for thousands of years already. No, economy and health must go hand in hand, and I don't need to say this and emphasize it, but that really, and all of these numbers translate to suffering. No, I mean, we have seen a number of an increase in domestic violence. Okay, klaro no, kay kwarta mas init imong ulo, and this translates to people going hungry, jobless, and of course suicides. No, and it's really terrible when we hear of this news of an increase in our suicide prevalence, especially in areas wherein jobs are dependent on tourism. And when such provinces haven't really opened completely, then all of these jobs are also gone. No? So living with the virus is possible. That's another reality that we need to assess. No? I mean, we can redesign the way we do things because we can circumvent how the virus can take advantage of our human behavior. So all we do is to learn the way, and the good thing about now is we now know more about the virus than before. No? So understanding the enemy. So allow me to share a few slides. Infectious diseases, when we analyze and we create strategies to address a pandemic or any infectious disease for that matter, it can be summarized in this slide, no? The epidemiologic triangle of infectious diseases. It requires a perfect storm of three elements that can create an infection. One is, of course, the most important, or equally important, is the agent. So that's the pathogen. That's the virus or bacteria or fungi or parasite. On its own, they're okay. They cannot. They're unable to cause disease, no. And on their own, they have the capacity and the propensity to kill and to spread. However, on their own, they're really harmless, no. However, we also have the host. The host is us, no, and it is the nature and the status of the host that allows the pathogen to proliferate. If you have a population who's unhealthy, who's poor hygiene practices, then the pathogen can quickly spread and kill that particular host. No? And the next one is the environment. And the environment is very important. No? The environment is the situation on which the agent and the host interacts. So for the purposes of COVID, it is crowding, it is poor ventilation, it is unhygienic practices also. So it's really an interaction of the three elements. And essentially, it is the environment that balances the agent and the host. No? So we need to be able to understand this completely so we can design strategies to address this pandemic. And really, it's in altering the environment that can alter the course of the pandemic. The host, no. It's important for the host to have that we have a healthy population. Sick people can easily get sicker, no, with the presence of the virus or other pathogens. We need an efficient, effective, and accessible health system. And I think crucial to any tourism site is the availability of all of these important healthcare facilities so that we can address these concerns quickly. And of course, protection provided by the vaccines. You need to strengthen the hosts. And really, masks and face shields are not enough because, as we can see in this graph, the hierarchy of infection control, the least effective is really your personal protective equipment. That's because we do not consistently comply or wear it properly. Of course, Miss Bridget is very religious in adhering to these rules, but not everyone is like her. No, I mean, there are many people who would let their guards down, and it is during these situations that COVID can spread. No, so the vaccine is an added protection. It is not perfect, but it's an added protection. Now, I would like to share this to our tourism leaders and business leaders here in Cebu. There's been a lot of concerns about the vaccination. So I manage around 4 to 5. I manage 5 vaccination sites here in PBB, and really the concerns of people. And I've given several lectures on vaccination, and their concerns can be divided into two. No, first is there's a much concern that they feel that experimentuhan sila that this is still just a clinical trial, which is not true. No, of course, they worry about the side effects, unvalidated deaths, and there's so many news, so many died. But if you ask them, it's actually just one story. It's unvalidated. They implanted microchip, and to zombie kaani kung mabakunahan. But I think in that can be addressed, with education and with several promotions. But I think one thing that needs to be addressed is the indifference. No? When I went to Bantayan early this June to have a vacation, I could not help but talk to the fisher folk and the market vendors. No? They felt that they don't want to be vaccinated because for them, what for? I mean, masks would still be required. So what's the purpose of getting a vaccine? There's indifference. And they've said they've survived without the vaccine all this time. And then why need to complicate things? No? And another issue is the rural area is not crowded. So there's therefore no need. But that's potentially dangerous. With tourism, you can potentially bring COVID to these areas, no? And perception that COVID will not reach them. They will always say, layo naman ng city, pila nakauras, dili nakaabot diri, nara na sa Manila ang variant, etc. So I think these two concerns, these two subgroups of concerns need to be addressed accordingly, and therefore our strategy should also vary. For safety and efficacy issues, consistent and constant education through the tri-media. Radio is still for me the most important media in reaching the Class C DNE. Promotion by influencers and leaders. We address fake news and claims ASAP, and strict monitoring so that those vaccinated will have a mechanism to report whatever adverse reactions. And I would just like to share some strategies, perhaps. My students in Cebu Doctors did the research, and they tried to correlate knowledge and practice about COVID in a particular bank, and in several banks. And they found out that the level of knowledge about COVID is not correlated with the level of compliance to the minimum health standards. And interestingly, those who even have poor knowledge about COVID had a high level of adherence to the minimum health standards. So what does that mean? That really, education may take a while, but regulation is abrupt, no? Because if your boss requires you to do it, if there's someone who would check on you from time to time, then you have no choice, then you will comply. So regardless of what you believe in. So I think that's the lesson there. Knowledge takes longer, but regulation is acute, no? In incentives work, no? So when I discussed with the market vendors and the fisher folk in Bantayan, no, and I told them, now what if, sir, na magpabakuna mo kay, if for example in your Bantayan is for example na bakunahan na, then maybe more tourists will come because they will feel safer in a tourism site wherein the staff are all vaccinated. So I asked them, will you get vaccinated if that is the motivation? And around 80 to 90% of them said yes, because it will affect their livelihood. And I think it is important in the messaging and when we educate people in vaccination that we provide these incentives for employers to truly have their employees vaccinated. Example, I was very shocked because we were tapped by this taxi company, and he had around 500 employees. And when we asked them, the owner was so stressed because only 8 of them wanted to be vaccinated. So they asked our group to be able to lecture and abate some of their concerns. But can you imagine, you're a taxi driver, you're exposed to so many people, you're a potential super spreader, and only 5 to 8 people wanted to be vaccinated. It's really disturbing. And when you talk to them, it's really that. What is it in it for me? No? It's so difficult to convey the long-term goal without addressing their short-term needs. No? Okay. So the agent is, of course, the virus. Responsive border control has to be balanced with community response. No? Border control is not 100%. It's very important to be able to balance this with the level of community response. Testing and diagnosis are very important. No? Singapore now is encouraging self-testing of antigen. I think they were inspired by Bridget. No, she tests herself quite a bit. No, and then yes, no, because there are some studies which show that self-testing with antigen testing can actually help us catch some cases, no? And clear protocols for triage, quarantine, and isolation. Of course, the medical solution. But the long-term solution I think is we need to rethink agriculture and trade. No, of course, in Cebu, our swine industry and everything, we need to be able to rethink how we treat our livestock. I think no, because if not, we run the risk of these viruses spreading, and these viruses spreading or even developing de novo in all of these sites. We need to be able to redesign all of this thinking for us to be sustainable and safe in the long term. Now, the environment, no? So of course, we know this, the balance towards our favor. What favors transmission is poorly ventilated areas, closed spaces, loud talking. And mind you, there's been several studies that when you are in an enclosed space with no ventilation, with no filtration, COVID can even spread up to 20 feet. No? So with the Delta variant, which is 40% more infectious, being in an enclosed space is still quite dangerous. No? So when I have a menu of establishments that have al-fresco options, no, because it's really safer. And of course, going to the beach is the best. Crowded vehicles in crowded rooms are really dangerous. And I think it's high time that we also talk to our engineers, to redesign the airflow. And if we can design a cheaper way to suck the air out and suck the air in, and have that airflow inside enclosed spaces, that would be safe, no? And utilize open spaces. I think we have not optimized our open spaces yet. Alcohol, I think we need to limit, no? Singapore, for instance, limit the time that you can partake in alcohol, because when you are a little bit tipsy or drunk, we tend to talk loudly, and it's the volume is directly correlated to the number of droplets that you can potentially spread. And we need to rethink seriously the transportation, and because the buses are closed, and that I had a patient before who had to transfer from one side to the next, had to be in the bus for quite a while, and sadly, natakdan siya during the transit. And it's important that we acknowledge this, to make the transportation sector more safer. No? So where do we go from here? An unintentional effect, I think, of PBB, and it is just a personal prediction and reflection on this, we are already creating cluster and sectoral immunity by vaccination. So when we vaccinate certain sectors, we minimize the transmission of the virus in that particular sector. For example, if you vaccinate an entire factory, the workers in an entire factory, then you can have the transmission is less in that area, no? And even in our tourism industry, personally, it's my dream that there will be someday there's a tatak, there is a menu of tourism sites wherein the staff are all vaccinated. That will be such a joy. Di na lagi ko permi, no? Create economic tourism bubbles. I think there are a lot of initiatives to do that also. And zone tourism sites according to the risk for transmission. Perhaps we can divide that. There are certain areas where the elderly can go, and there's certain areas that they cannot, and certain areas where only vaccinated people are allowed, perhaps. No, so I think the zoning can be helpful to minimize and as well as control the pandemic. Incorporate testing. I think antigen testing is already there, and I think it has to be optimized. There are still a limited literature in its impact to the tourism industry, but I think it is worth a shot taking a look at. And of course, and I really do appreciate the efforts of the tourism sector. When I go out, they know their protocols in most of the facilities, and they know how to respond, which is really, really, really good. No? Incentivize establishments whose staff are vaccinated, those who follow and implement health protocols. Maybe a trip advisor of restaurants that strictly enforce minimum health standards, where they, maybe a trip advisor sort of areas with alfresco. There's so many people asking me, by the way, Brian, where do you eat? Where do you go? Because I think it's important. People really, the branding now is safety, and I think people are realizing that, no? And we need to rethink engineering and architectural standards. Perhaps in the future, we need to loop them in, and then perhaps redesign the way we do and create buildings and infrastructure, especially for tourism. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brian, for showing us the link between tourism and science. And also, gibuking ko nimo na may pagkapalingsag ko Like I do swab tests on myself weekly just to make sure that I'm safe and the people around me are safe as well. Kawabantay ang booking ko nimo. Also, kawag ko guys, Dr. Brian, since the start of this pandemic, he has been relentless in keeping Cebu safe. So sometimes matulog na siya 2 hours lang. He does like 18-hour rounds, 18-hour duties per day. So Doc Brian, we're very grateful for you, dude. And also thank you for giving us tips on how to recover, how to have safe environments to also revitalize our economy. So I know everybody's very excited to ask questions for our speakers. But before we start with the Q&A, may I request everyone to turn on your videos for a virtual photo opportunity with our speakers. So may I ask everybody to turn on your videos, please, so we can have a photo op. There's currently about 160 participants right now, so thank you for tuning in.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Smile. Okay, another one. In 3, 2, 1. Smile. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. All right, so we're going to proceed with our question and answer portion. May I ask our participants to type in your questions in the chat box. Make your questions concise and direct to the point. And if you have questions for a specific speaker or panelist, please include their name as well. And after the Q&A, we will be doing an electronic raffle. Exciting prizes await our participants, and we have minor prizes courtesy of Aguila. And also one major prize, one round-trip ticket for any domestic flight courtesy of Cebu Pacific. All right, we will start with our first question. So our first question is directed to Dr. Brian Lim. When can the Philippines achieve herd immunity to be able to open tourism gateway? And how, considering the number of vaccines coming in and people's eagerness to be vaccinated?
I honestly don't know the answer, no? The science tells us that we need at least 70% of our population to be vaccinated for herd immunity to be achieved. I think realistically for Cebu, if we can vaccinate Metro Cebu or considerably Metro Cebu, we can achieve a certain level of safety. And when that is done, I'm imagining some clusters of herd immunity in certain sectors. So we'll see. Medyo dugay-dugay pa niya. But yeah.
Hopefully not too long. Now, I know everybody's itching to go back to, a sense of normalcy. Thank you, Doc Bry. The second one still for you. Where can we work in this time of pandemic?
Where can you work? What does it mean in tourism? Yeah, I think in areas, no? I mean, if you follow Bridget's post when she goes around during the weekend, no, the beach or diving or mountain climbing, those are safe. Those are safe. No, I mean,
those are safe.
In areas that are open, well ventilated, open, and then there's not much crowding. So I'm encouraging our young people to, instead of going to bars, go to the beach and do all these healthier options. No, so I think certain areas in the tourism sector can open safely. No, I have to understand. But I think it's just that I'm more concerned of the employees, especially when we go to the provinces, no? Because if there's an influx of people from the cities, we know that these tourists may potentially carry with them COVID. We need to, I think, vaccinate and prioritize the tourism sector. No?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so there are certain areas that are safe, but also when we travel, when there's movement, that's when it becomes risky as well. I learned that from you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Doc Bry. All right, our third question is for Cebu Pacific. Will tourism in its entirety resume by 2022? Mr. Sander. Hello, sir.
Hey, it's a good question. No? I think what we've seen in other parts of the world is the first part of the tourism recovery is always going to be domestic. So for example, in the United States, they're not yet at 70% vaccinations, no? But you can see, for example, the arenas are quite full. There are concerts already ongoing, no? Obviously, certain states have a much higher level of vaccination, no? So I think what Dr. Lim was saying earlier was pretty correct, no? If the government and the private sector together are able to vaccinate, say, 70% of highly urbanized cities and populations, we believe that things can normalize relatively quickly. However, if we take a look at the entire picture, kasi, I mean, tourism is not just domestic, eh. May kasama rin international, no? So we think international though will probably lag a year later from domestic, no? So from our perspective, we think that there can be some normalcy, in fact, as early as this year, maybe as December this year, but certainly we're looking forward to, say, first quarter, second quarter next year, that domestic tourism is back to pre-COVID levels.
Okay, that would be great if that would happen. I guess it's a matter of numbers, of quantity. Yep. So the more people get vaccinated, the safer it is to travel as well. Okay.
Certainly. That's what we've seen in other countries.
Yes. Sir Sander, I have a follow-up question for you. Statistically or economically, when will the tourism economy be back similar to 2019? I wonder if this means like pre-pandemic.
Well, I think based, for example, IATA, they think that 2023 will be back to pre-COVID levels, in terms of traffic, in terms of in terms of traffic first, no? We're not so sure about spend because clearly the economy, the Philippine economy is probably one of the last economies to recover, no? So we don't know if spend is going to follow that quickly. But certainly in terms of traffic, we believe 2023, 2024, there would be a return to pre-COVID levels already, no? But again, domestically, we're a bit more cautiously optimistic, and we think that 2022 we should be back by then.
Okay, yeah, good to be cautiously optimistic and then pleasantly surprised. Right,
that's right.
Yeah, come back. Okay, so the next question is for Doc Brian and Sir Sander. What are some additional safety and security measures added to the establishments in order to minimize the risk of COVID-19 infection?
Yeah, I think it's dependent on the type of establishment that you're running. No, the principles of the minimum health standards, I think, need to be individualized depending on the sector. I do encourage you, if you have specific questions, please do contact us in the Emergency Operations Center in Cebu City, because we do pwede kita mag-schedule or meeting to assess on how to further improve the standards, no?
Yeah, definitely. So probably businesses in Cebu specifically can contact, the EOC, and also you guys can determine how to keep your establishment safer, which will also spur economic recovery as well. Like, people feel safe, and then they spend money when they feel safe, and people go back to work as well. So Thank you, Dr. Brian. Yeah. Sir Sander, do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, maybe in addition, the airline is actually using a framework from a company called Simply Flying, which is really taking a look at rebuilding trust in travel by doing basically three things. No? First of all is sanitation. Second is testing, and the third one is tracing. No? So in terms of safety and sanitation, the airline industry itself was one of the first transportation industries to have these protocols set up relatively quickly. I think for testing, what we've done so far with our own, for example, with our own frontliners, we've done some tests before duty. We continue to encourage all of our frontliners to get vaccinated. In fact, on a recent survey that we took internally, roughly 93% of our employees and our third-party contractors want to get vaccinated. Right now, we have, I think, 33% of our frontliners already vaccinated. We wish it was more, obviously, but that's really driven by the supply. No? So if the supply gets a lot more in the third quarter, we believe that our own vaccination rates will also rise. And I think it's really just continuing to encourage people to get vaccinated, and get vaccinated. As long as the Department of Health approves these vaccines, we should trust in them, and we should just go out there and get vaccinated.
Yes, definitely. I think the reason for vaccine hesitancy is also people are afraid that, like for Pfizer, that they're going to become magnets, right? So I've seen people post on social media, like they put magnets on their shoulders to see if the magnets will stick. So I think, the more informed people are, the more there's educational campaigns out there that people will feel safer to get vaccinated.
Yes. Maybe just to add into that, though, when we took that survey a while back, I think we were at 70%. Then we started rolling out the education. Then we started making enrollments much easier. We work with the local governments, and that continued to keep going up and up. So I think it's all about educating the public.
Thank you. Just stay put lang you two. Okay, there are other questions directed to R.D. Tumano, but I'm not sure if he's still here. R.D., are you still here? But otherwise, we'll forward your questions to him. So first question, will tourism in its entirety resume by 2022? Updates on the Central Visayas tourism situation. And what do you think is the ending forecast of 2021 in terms of tourism-related revenue for the Visayas and for the whole Philippines? So don't worry, we'll forward your questions to Director Tumano and then get back to you on those. So the next question is directed to Mayor. Is Mayor Frasco around? Okay. There are also questions directed to Mayor Frasco, which we will forward as well. So we have time for last two questions. The first one's directed to Cebu Pacific. What are the reasons for canceled flights or moved flights?
Well, there's a number of reasons for the flight cancellations. One of which is changes in government regulations, for example. So all of a sudden, we're told that the classification has changed, the criteria has changed. There's a quota, for example, for arrivals, and that one we while it's unfortunate that it's so dynamic, that's something we ought to be expecting in this environment, where safety is paramount to not just the airlines, but also to our local government regulators. And there's been a bit more, I guess, authority granted to the local governments, because clearly they are the ones that are the best judge of the situation on the ground, and they can make the adjustments as it comes and goes. Now, we're hopeful that we get back into a more normal environment, and again, this is predicated on a lot more people getting vaccinated, because once we return to normalcy, I think the flight changes, the cancellations, the schedule movements that we see are probably going to be fewer. It is I guess the norm today, given all of the changes in regulations, and certainly something that we ask our passengers understanding for them. But that's also a reason why we introduce a lot more self-service capability. So in case your flight is disrupted, you don't have to call a call center. You just open your app, and then you go to the managed booking section of the app.
Yeah, that's very helpful and very convenient. Yeah, I also appreciate how Cebu Pacific has transitioned into digitalization, making everything easier, like booking, rebooking, and also all the information involving flights as well. So thank you for that. All right, so we have time for one last question directed to Mayor Cristina. After all the setbacks due to the pandemic, which area of tourism do you think would bounce back fast? Beach, outdoor adventure, farm tourism, ecological tours, parks, or historical places?
Well, what we're seeing as the trend right now is actually the revival of sports tourism in our towns and cities. And this is evident in the many bike rides and races that have been held in government units, including recent ones held in Liloan as well as in the 5th district of Cebu. There's also rising running events in our LGUs, and so definitely I believe that the outdoor activities, both in the mountainside and the beaches, are gaining wide popularity.
Yeah, Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And we also appreciate how Liloan is very active in promoting outdoor activities as well. So thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I have one last question. Where can we work in this time of pandemic?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sorry, where can we work in this time of pandemic?
Well, there's a lot of options for employment. If you need assistance as far as our LGU is concerned, we have a program called Liloan Works that provides emergency employment assistance to those who have lost their livelihood. It gives you temporary employment for 8 days in exchange for cash.
Oh, wow.
Engaging in sustainable environment measures such as planting trees, coastal cleanups, etc., or 4 days of work in exchange for rice. I believe that certain industries are also opening up as far as employment is concerned, especially with propensity for local tourism to rise again. So we're glad that those whose employment were temporarily halted, employed in the resorts, etc., are starting to gain ground back again with the reopening of our various resorts across the province and islands of Cebu.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. And thank you also for having Liloan be one of the model local government units amidst this pandemic. Thank you for your presence, Mayor. Also, thank you to all our speakers for this afternoon's event. So next, we will have the raffle. So Jovit, may I call on Jovit, our dynamic secretariat, to award the minor prizes and the major prize as well. So only participants present today will have a chance to win. So the CBM Secretariat is taking note of the winners, and we will contact you for delivery details of your prizes. So Jovit, suspense, it's very thrilling.
Okay, for the first prize, we have Miss Maggie May Manalo. Is Miss Maggie here at the Zoom?
I guess she's not around.
Okay, so we'll choose another one. Mr. Steven Yu.
He's not around as well.
Okay, we'll choose another one. Miss Irma, is it? Is Miss Irma here?
She's not here, Joe.
Okay, we just choose until somebody is here. Okay, we'll just choose another one. How about Lodime Kapuyan?
Hello, good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Miss. So our secretariat will be contacting you.
Thank you. Thank you.
How many again, Miss, will we be wrapping off?
10 umbrellas, Jude.
Okay, so the first umbrella is already gotten. How about Miss Jean, Mr. Jean Paul Borja?
She's not around, Jude.
How about Mr. Kent de la Calzada?
He's here.
Here, Joe.
Okay, thank you. How about Sir Nimrod?
He's here. Present, Jude.
Miss Isabel Guardo.
Not here.
Miss Che Gantalao.
She's here.
Here. Sir Lyndon Angan.
Not here.
Miss Hermelina Dimitiman.
Next, Jude. She's not here.
Sir Roland Hope Monterona.
He's not around.
Sir Carlo Cordaro.
Not around, you.
Miss Rosemary Abarquez.
Not around.
How about Miss Kat Katcho?
Not around.
Sir Kent Toling.
here. One last umbrella, Jube.
So for our last is Mr. Mark Ernima here.
He's here.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. So that ends our first raffle. Miss Bridge.
Okay, congratulations to the winners. All right, we'll proceed to the next part of our program. Post-COVID will be the beginning of the new chapter, a neo-digital age. Last year's Tourism Summit, CBM was able to launch a 360 virtual tour as a new strategy to sell and promote various destinations online. Now, we'll provide you an update on the 360 virtual tour experience to be discussed and presented by our next speaker. Mr. Ryan Tan Yu is a serial entrepreneur in the field of technology and innovation, co-founding and operating tech companies like Metaverse and R.I.S.E, with successful pursuits in R&D, immersive technology, digital transformation, public-private partnerships, and web and mobile app development. Ryan actively produces spin-offs and products relevant to society's pressing needs, such as during the COVID-19 pandemic. Ryan combines his 13 plus years experience in technology and management with his certifications in viral, social media, digital marketing, planning, and experiential marketing to find and nurture businesses in the competitive global arena of technology. Ryan also conducts workshops and takes speaking engagements in topics relevant to his experience and expertise. In his spare time, he likes to engage in common activities such as cooking and motorsports. Friends, help me welcome Mr. Ryan Tan Yu.
Hello, tourists, tour operators, and business owners, government units, and other stakeholders in the tourism industry. No doubt, by this point, over a year into this pandemic, you all have explored, witnessed, experienced, or even used and enjoyed different technology-driven applications designed and built for the purpose of enhancing the tourism experience. You've probably used our Discover Cebu mobile app, the Discover Cebu website, and other virtual tours and other technology platforms. Of all the things covered today so far, I'm here to talk about 360 virtual tours. In this segment, we will talk about one example, which is Suroy Cebu, the 360 grand virtual tour of the entire Cebu Island. Before we continue, just putting this out there, you can access Suroy Cebu at mata.ph, or that's mata.ph. Now, a 360 virtual tour is done usually for real estate properties. But in response to this pandemic, Metaverse Incorporated, the company behind this, repurposed their technology to serve the severely impacted tourism industry, starting with Suroy Cebu as its pilot project. Aside from the Discover Cebu ecosystem mentioned in the previous segments, of course, Suroy Cebu is an example of a solution that enhances your tourism experience remotely. Have a look. So, with a bird's eye perspective, you see all of the tourist destinations in Cebu. It gets better. Click on one location, let's pick Camotes as an example, and it brings you to a 360-degree view of the place, and it allows you to navigate even, right? Go deeper into the cave. Just pretty much navigate from there. You get a glimpse of what this business really is, or rather, what is this destination and what does it have to offer to the guests, to the tourists coming over. You can select different tourist destinations that are within the same vicinity, within Camotes Island, using this example. And you can drag across the screen, or you can use your tablet or phone to navigate across. Now, You can explore this at your own time, but this is what I want to emphasize. The beautiful thing about this tech is its flexibility. Example, you can scale this up to an entire city, even an entire universe, or scale it up to a single property like a museum, dig deep into the story and history of its artifacts, showcase them in a virtual exhibit, or whatever you feel needs to be communicated, whether it's audio, video, or just the look or the scenery itself, right, in 360. If you're a government unit, for example, you can virtualize an entire island, just like Suroy Cebu. And this was accomplished in partnership with the Cebu Provincial Tourism Office and Metaverse, of course. So that was an island, right? It could be an entire region. It could be a map of the dive sites, right? Farms, other destinations, trail routes for climbers, mountain biking enthusiasts, or campers, motorcyclists. And you can pretty much imagine the possibilities from there. Operators and business owners can create 360 virtual tours of just about anything they want. It could be their resort so that guests can check out the facilities, their retreat house to show how secluded it is from the busy city, the underwater scenery for their diver guests, because Metaverse also has 360-degree cameras for underwater and aerial use, or a 360-degree video of your theme park or water park. Okay, so that's a lot to take in. I've shown you an example of Suroy Cebu, what it can do, and what are the possibilities to you as a business owner or as a government unit. Now, all I'm saying is, with 360 virtual tours and its proven and practiced flexibility, accessible to a wide range of audiences, especially with their mobile phones and tablets, the possibilities are limitless. As long as your desired audience has the equipment or the device to view it on, which is, again, a browser, a tablet, or in a phone, or a VR headset, they have them. You can show anything via an interactive 360 virtual tour. And that very tool is what our stakeholders of the tourism industry have as of today. Another tool that is readily available for the tourism industry, 360 virtual tours. So, if you're a tourist, even if you're not yet, make sure to check out your desired destination online. If it is in Cebu, there's a good chance they already have a 360 virtual tour created online. Cebu is the only island in the Philippines with a complete 360 virtual tour, virtual archive of its destinations. Check out your destination, explore them in 360, learn about these destinations, and probably increase your appreciation for what Cebu has to offer. Go to their websites, their Google Maps, and social media pages. There's a good chance you'll find their 360-degree content in there. If you are a business operator, reach out to these 360 virtual tour providers to explore both commercial and collaborative projects that are possible. Of course, underlined by the mutual interest of enriching the tourism experience. Like I said earlier, there are a lot of things you can do with 360 virtual tours, right? It could be a virtual tour of your resort, hotel, your facility or property, or it could be a virtual tour of the experience, right? Canyoneering, an entire video, imagine of the entire stretch, a mountain climbing, a view from the apex, or water sports, right? A view from what it's like to be riding a jet ski across the coast. So, and lastly, there are you can also do virtual tours for your associate businesses. So as I've shown earlier, in this example, if you were to take this and see if this was the island of Cebu, you could plot the different associate businesses in your association perhaps, and plot them across the map to see where they are located relative to, for example, the airport. And you can click on or tap on one of those and then see what the facility looks like. Perhaps that boosts or increases the credibility of the said business. And and many more. There are at least 3 that I've mentioned so far for you as a business operator that you can use 360 virtual tours for. So we talked about what you could do as a tourist, as a business operator, and if you are a tourism advocate, whether you're a tourist or a student or a service provider, whether you're a photographer, software engineer, or a marketing professional even, do reach out to existing 360 virtual tour providers and get trained and get started in 360-degree media. Say, as an intern or student or fresh grad, you can be a part of this major technological push in tourism and technology. Learn the ins and outs of 360 virtual tour production, from software development to content production to hardware fabrication even. And as a professional, you can also build a business, just like you do with freelance photography contracts, just this time as a partner, working on a new and exciting technology with the potential to revolutionize the way the tourism industry operates. Let us all be a part of this mission to use technology and enhance the tourism experience of Cebu and of the Philippines. This is very similar to the increase in demand for food delivery services during lockdown. Only this time in tourism, we're locking down our desire to travel. So let's make the most of the technology of 360 virtual tours until it's time for the real, full Cebu tourism experience. All right, so that's me, and that's my time. This is what we do. This is what we've given years of our lives to. On behalf of me and my team, I deeply thank you for sharing this with me, with us. See you out there.
Thank you, Ryan. Ryan, it's very cool how you've been able to integrate technology and tourism. And thank you for showing us the 360 tour experience. It's also pretty cool that Cebu has its own archive of 360 experiences on different tourist destination spots. So thank you for working hard on that. Thank you to your team. So our next speaker will be discussing the province of Cebu's effort on reviving Cebu's tourism industry through responsible, sustainable, and safer means that will not only encourage domestic and foreign tourists, but also revitalize the local economy and how digitalization plays an important role in it. Ms. Maria Lester Marti Ibanez is the present tourism officer of the Cebu Provincial Tourism Office. She's also a freelance event director, event organizer, and choreographer. Ms. Marti is also a beauty assistant, supervisor, and trainer for 5th P Advertising. And in 2006 to 2009, she was an operations assistant for the Cebu City Tourism Commission. Over the past years, Ms. Marti has received many awards and achievements and successfully organized prominent events both locally and internationally. Friends, please help me welcome Provincial Tourism Officer, Ms. Marti Ibanez. Welcome, ma'am.
Discover Cebu online booking system. For years, tourist traffic has been gaining numbers, destinations frequently visited by local and foreign tourists. In 2019, we envisioned this to be addressed, giving appropriate tourist traffic, especially to our natural areas, managing the density of the daily arrivals per tourist destination, and equal promotion of the sites and attractions. This initiative was drafted even before pandemic to answer the negative impact to both natural resources and cultural practice. It was very timely when we received similar proposal for digital tourism from 2 different companies with the same goal as we were. The idea was to come up with a tourism mobile app with a feature to perform online booking, reservation system, promote all tourist attraction, use 3D 360 degrees photos instead of a conventional 2D photos, and reach local products through online selling and promotion. whatever was doable and practical to kick off the project. The idea was to come up with a tourism mobile app with a feature to perform online booking, reservation system, promote all tourist attraction, use 3D 360 degrees photos instead of a conventional 2D photos, and bridge local products through online selling and promotion. Whatever was doable and practical to kick off the project. We were working out our partnership project out of passion because there was no monetary value and was just clear promotion. And name it Suri Suri Sugbo Tourism mobile app back then. It was a work in progress and was featuring sites within the province. Fast track, pandemic happened. There was no tourism for a while until the governor said we need to move forward and resuscitate our economy. A series of meetings were conducted and formulated a provincial tourism task force and set of guidelines in handling tourists during this time of pandemic. Part of the challenges in tourism was handling crowded areas or those frequented by visitors, safe distancing, and monitoring of tourist movement. From the planned phase-by-phase development of the tourism mobile application, the online booking feature was expedited to address those challenges and made the Discover Cebu online booking system. 1. Systematically manage the allowed capacity per day and allowed visitors per tour per group. 2. Identify tours being booked within Cebu and quick response time on locating the booking, thus can provide quick pull-up of account for disputes matters or simple changes of tour details. 3. Logs tourist details for future contact tracing purposes, for instance, or simple demographic studies for marketing use. 4. It also links or feature the 360 degrees photo for virtual visits prior to booking. 5. Pricing is controlled and monitored to ensure transactions will only be done by authorized and official personnel of the said destination. 6. Provide electronic tour details like time and location, its inclusions such as fees, gears and equipment, contact person, and for how many people. Destination activities being included are only those sites with certificate of compliance issued by the Cebu Provincial Tourism Task Force. However, there are some destinations opted not to be part in the meantime despite them having followed the protocols due to minimal fees or internet connectivity challenges like Buwakan ni Alejandra, Bamboo Forest in Midillian, and its similar activity. Now, we have 2 digital projects being managed. For the Discover Cebu Tourism mobile application, we have partnered with Metaverse and Ride Hero, and Cebu Digital for the Discover Cebu online booking system.
So guys, if you want to discover Cebu and explore Cebu, go to discover.cebu.gov.ph. Ms. Marty, thank you so much for sharing your input. The Cebu provincial government has been very active in reviving the tourism industry of Cebu. And if I'm not mistaken, we're also one of the first provinces to adapt to digital tourism. So congratulations and thank you, ma'am. So our next speaker is a provincial board member of the 5th District of Cebu. He's also the chairman of the Committee on Tourism and the 15th Sangguniang Panlalawigan of the province of Cebu. Friends, help me welcome Honorable Andre R.I.S.E. Duterte.
Mga po sa tanan, this is Board Member R.I.S.E. Duterte representing the 5th District of Cebu, and I am also the chairman on the Committee on Tourism of the 15th Sangguniang Panlalawigan. First of all, congratulations to the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry as they celebrate the Cebu Business Month 2021. First of all, I'd like to send my warmest regards to my co-speakers, especially to Secretary Puyat, to Director Tamano of 7, to Mayor Cristina Frasco, and to my co-worker in the Capitol, Ms. Marty Ibanez, who is the head of the Cebu Provincial Tourism Office. I am here to talk about sustainable tourism. No, so before I tackle that, I'd like to give a short primer lang, no. Back in 2019, 1.4 million people visited Cebu. So these were 1.4 million domestic and international tourists who were enjoying, no, and spending on our beautiful island. In the province of Cebu, we always have this thinking that tourism, more than a leisure activity, is also an economic activity. And the tourism sector in the province is one of the biggest economic boosters, no, we have here in the island, both in the Cebu province and even in Cebu City and Lapu-Lapu City. Because of COVID, from 1.4 million visitors in 2019, it was practically zero in 2020 when the lockdowns were imposed. And you can imagine, no, the number of jobs lost, the number of tourism jobs lost, the number of families affected because of this lockdown. Now, as early as August of last year of 2020, when Cebu was placed under MGCQ, ang tourism activities ato pwede naman under MGCQ, Governor Gwen Garcia decided to slowly reopen the tourism industry of the province. We have over 3.3, if I'm not mistaken, million Cebuanos living in the island of Cebu. So, ang market na mo ana, it's we decided we should tap the local market since domestic and international flights weren't allowed or weren't that frequent yet, no? So that's what we did as early as August of last year. Now going back to my main topic, sustainable tourism. For me, sustainable tourism is first and foremost a shared responsibility among all stakeholders, not only in the government but also the private sector. Now, so what I mentioned, as early as last year, we were reopening the tourism industry. Governor Gwen issued EO 20-A outlining guidelines, no, guidelines for each tourism activity in the province to really mandate, what best practices we should follow and implement. Especially as we go about this quote-unquote ang kaning sikat kaayo na ko ang new normal. So from science-based procedures, no, to really just to ensure the safety, the health and wellness of every visitor in every one of our tourist spots and establishments. It was included in EO 20-A, which was adopted into an ordinance by the Sangguniang Panlalawigan to ensure full implementation and para ma-follow yun, no, sa tanan natong mga tourism stakeholders. Now, we have been roaming around the province to all major tourism destinations from north to south. And as what I've said, it is a tourism sustainability is a shared responsibility. So dili lang kami ang nagsuroy. We made sure to include all concerned government agencies. We have the OT, DTI, even the police force of PNP, we had the AFP, we had Marina, we had the Coast Guard, and we even had the ANR. Okay, as we all know, most of our tourism destinations here are natural wonders of nature. So in order to really push for a sustainable tourism industry, we should really include these, no? So that's one, no, of one way of ensuring that our tourism here is sustainable. Number two, we have been implementing ordinances to ensure sustainability, not only in the provincial level but in the local level as well. I'd like to highlight the importance of ordinances in the local level because they are more tailor-fit to the activity or the site in that particular LGU. For example, in the Bantayan, their ordinances are tailor-fit to their diving activities since diving is the most popular activity there. In the town of Badian, where the famous kayaking and canyoneering is, no? Kawasan Falls is also there. So the ordinance there also tailor fits to that those activities. Sa province naman, sa province wide naman, that's where the adoption of EO 20-A, where all tourism activities were included na in that ordinance. So medyo encompassing na siya. No, so that's the second way, no, of ensuring sustainability. Now, one way of ensuring sustainability, another way is to we've been also thinking of ways, no, to how to innovate, no, or to market Cebu as a health and wellness destination. As we all know, one thing that COVID taught us is the importance, no, of really taking care of one's health and wellness. So marketing to Cebu as a health and wellness destination is also one of our thrusts. One way of doing that, aside from ensuring that our sites, our establishments are safe, we are also trying to market locally made products that would boost the immune system of a person, and to come up with new products that would further promote health and wellness, no? So we have, you know, these healthy malunggay cookies or turmeric cookies, turmeric tea, things like that, no? That really are add-ons, no, to the tourism experience here in the province. Also, we also need to think of innovative ways in terms of policy making and implementation. So that's where our ordinances, no, for both the provincial and local levels come in. Now, this is also important, coordination with national government agencies, because kami sa Cebu provincial government, we cannot do it alone, no? So it has also to be a collaboration between all concerned national government agencies, not just the DOT, no? As what I mentioned kanina, since this is a shared responsibility, you know, we need the police force, the PNP, the Coast Guard, Marina to ensure that all protocols are followed, no, by all stakeholders. We need the DNR, no, to make sure our natural resources, our natural attractions are safe, no, and are not destroyed. So things like that, no. And we also need to tap also, no, these best environmental practices. We should benchmark on best environmental practices implemented by our localities. Now, since as what I've said, most of our attractions are natural, or are not man-made, are natural wonders. So it's also best, no, to really make sure that they are unharmed, no, and they are unharmed, and they stay as healthy, no, as the visitors, no. Yes. And as usual, no, our mantra in Cebu is moving on and moving forward. To move on and to move forward is to push for an even more sustainable tourism industry in Cebu, and is to push for a tourism industry in the province that is of high quality, that is safe, that is healthy, and it promotes one's optimal health and wellness. So as far as the province of Cebu is concerned, that is the direction we are going to. I invite the rest of the country. Maybe you guys can benchmark on our best practices. We invite you to come to the province of Cebu. I believe we are the first province not to really push for the reopening of our tourism sector, because we believe that the tourism sector is one of the biggest economic boosters of our province and even in the entire country. We are we are in solidarity with our tourism stakeholders, especially our boatmen, our tour guides, and those who were really affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, the number of families who were affected. And since we are in solidarity with them, we will fight for them. Which is why here in the province of Cebu, we are continuing to promote local tourism. One good thing with what happened in this pandemic is Cebuanos are now discovering the beauty of this province. Since we can't go anywhere else, so Cebuanos are now traveling into their own province and discovering and realizing that Cebu is really is beautiful. And that's one way also start local first and go from there. So as far as tourism sustainability is concerned, we are very open to the possibility to any possibility that would really take the province a notch higher in terms of tourism sustainability. We are one with the government, with the national government, in their thrust to ensure that everyone is safe and everyone is healthy while maintaining that delicate balance between health and economy. So once again, congratulations to the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Salamat kaayo sa pag-invite na ako sa inyong forum, and I wish you all the best. Stay safe, everyone. Stay healthy, and as one Cebu, let us move on and move forward. Daghang salamat umayong hapon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Board, for that wonderful update. And also for talking about Cebu building a resilient tourism industry. Actually, I'm one of the Cebuanos na, because of the pandemic, I've discovered how beautiful Cebu really is and how much natural wonders we have to offer. Before we used to travel abroad, and now it's local tourism. So I've discovered that it's not just beautiful beaches that we have, but also incredible mountain tourist spots, as well as rock climbing destinations too. So thank you for highlighting that. So moving on, today we have invited 3 panelists to share and discuss their success stories on tourism experience enhancement. Our first panelist is the chairman of Lapu-Lapu City Tourism, Cultural, and Historical Affairs Commission. Friends, please help me welcome the First Lady of Lapu-Lapu City, Chairwoman Cindy Chan.
Maayong hapon kanatong tanan. To our distinguished guests, speakers, and panelists, to our dear viewers, a pleasant afternoon to everyone. COVID-19 has tremendously affected the whole world. More than a year ago, no one predicted it would put almost everything on hold. Our plans for travel, school, work, businesses have all suffered. The biggest challenge we now face is how to recover our lives under the new normal. Getting 70% of our population vaccinated, thus achieving herd immunity, allowing and accepting foreign tourists, but still following minimum health and safety protocols. We just cannot close our eyes and tell ourselves that everything will go back to normal. It won't, maybe not for a year or two. But we also cannot afford to continue closing our businesses. We cannot continue giving rice and food packs to our people. As a city that mainly depends on tourism, we were among the greatest to be affected, but hopefully among the first to recover. That is why, under the modified general quarantine status, the city government of Lapu-Lapu, with the dynamic leadership of City Mayor Junard Ahong Chan, in collaboration with the Lapu-Lapu City Tourism, Cultural and Historical Affairs Commission, and the different stakeholders, meet regularly since last year to redefine, refocus, and change our tourism game plan. Go forward in order to survive, to revive, and to thrive. So, as early as August of 2020, we inspected our hotels and resorts for their health and safety protocols. By October, we were able to launch our Balik Turismo travel fair and premiered our promotional video showcasing what Lapu-Lapu can offer and that we were ready to accept domestic and foreign tourists. Its main goal was to jumpstart our recovery efforts with the hope that the rest will follow, such as the return of regular domestic and international flights, the reopening of our tourist spots, hotels and resorts, diving activities, island hopping, the return to work order of the thousands of employees from the hospitality industry. We needed to make our own steps to help our city bounce back from billions of losses, thereby saving our businesses, saving jobs, and saving our constituents. Lapu-Lapu City has been able to manage our COVID cases due in part of our LGU's contact tracing efforts. Close collaboration of the different offices and departments involved. We have intensified our vaccination efforts and have vaccinated almost 30,000 people, and as of today, 120,000 have registered online. We would also like to commend the valuable support of the Hotel, Resort, and Restaurant Association of Cebu, various government agencies, especially the Department of Tourism, Central Visayas, Department of Health, MCIAA, and various government agencies. As the saying goes, the best is yet to come. We have big plans to develop the ecotourism of Olango Island, and we will dub it as Explore Olango. While on the mainland, we will be showcasing Opon's best. Since we were the center of activities for the 500 years victory at Mactan celebrations last April 2021, and our recently held 60th Charter Day, we are still in the process of completing our cultural mapping that will showcase each of the 30 barangays' own unique products and attractions. It will also offer livelihood opportunities to our different women's groups and fisher folks. This pandemic offers us an opportunity to hit the reset button, make the tourism sector a sustainable engine for economic growth and development. We are ready, and our tourists are assured of their health and safety while in our midst. Thank you. Now let us experience the amazing and wondrous Lapu-Lapu City.
Thank you, Chair Cindy. Thank you for your tireless efforts in reviving Lapu-Lapu City's tourism industry. Our second panelist is the owner of Evo Nature Camp. He is a former Cebu Chamber of Commerce trustee. He's also the former chairman of the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industries Tourism Committee, and also the former director of the Tourism Promotions Board under the Department of Tourism. Friends, please help me welcome Mr. Edwin Ortiz.
Close to 10 years after seeing the benefits of putting up the first zipline cafe in Cebu City along with some friends, I thought of moving forward, creating another project. Now, there were friends and even schools who were trying to contact, looking for a place to camp or some places for outdoor fun. So I thought that why not go ahead with this kind of a project? After all, I was already in possession of a lot that was ideal for this kind of activity. Quite foggy and very near the city, only 45 minutes away. So that started it all. A simple plan of utilizing the lot that I had for camping tents and parking, and put up a simple grill resto near the mango tree on top of the hill. Since I had a welder in another business, and I utilized the guy, since he had not much to do, to make some gazebos. And since the overseer of this lot that I had, the local guy, was into agriculture, I had him make some contours. Now, after seeing those done in 2 months, then I said to myself, oh boy, it's high time to really go ahead with this project. So I bought a couple of plants, planted them in these contour areas, started with 1,000 plants, 5,000, 4,000 flowers, 40,000 flowers, until it became a flower garden. So we proceeded with this project. As I am passionate also with planting trees, we hunted down for some pine seedlings as well as endemic plants and planted them around till it reached 3,000 trees. Now, as the place was getting cuter, the expenses also getting a bit higher, and the concept becoming clearer and clearer, I thought it was high time to ask for professional help. So I thought of a friend who was not only a good architect who practiced in Singapore and in the country, but a veteran climber, veteran camper, a veteran mountain bike cyclist, and someone who even has, or even a founder of an outdoor events and garments company called Abagat. So I was happy to have invited Randy Su. And the first time Architect Su first time he visited the place, he said, this is a beautiful place, ideal for camping. The weather is just perfect, but there's one big problem. This is like a one big slope, a one big anthill. So it was very difficult to have flattened areas to put up structures. But then, because of his passion, perhaps, he said, let's find a way. So what we did was to utilize old tires to reclaim these slopes, to flatten the areas. And so it was possible. So we kept on getting used tires from a waste management company that I also run. And that was a good thing. So all in all, it must have reached around 3,000 tires. So it ended up like this. Come January 11, 2020, 11/2020, we decided to open up the place, to have the blessing and call it Evo Nature Camp. So the affair was graced by these officials, the Mayor of Balamban, Congressman Pablo John Garcia, and the barangay captain of Gaas, William Hinel. So as you can see, the first concept or the initial concepts we had really materialized. So we have this flower garden, we had those gazebos, we had that simple grill restaurant, and the simple camping area amidst the flowers, and the simple playground, one swing that even came from my house. So we were happy with the first set of customers, campers, trekkers, diners. Then the news broke out that Corona was coming to town, that the pandemic reached the Philippines and we had to close shop. So March 25, 2020 came and we had to stop operations. Word was that the lockdown was going to be temporary, a few weeks or a month. So we assisted our people, made them stop, assisted them with a little money to start on planting crops. But then the weeks went into months and the people were suffering. I even have an employee whose wife just delivered a baby a week before lockdown. And the guy had no choice but to call me 3 times asking for help so they can just buy milk for their baby. You know, if you're in the mountainous area and you rely on selling crops, but there's no transportation that comes because of the lockdown, nor are there major markets that are open like Carbon, which you rely on to sell your crops, then you're in big trouble. So that's when we decided that we will continue just coming up with construction plans just so these people can have jobs. So we rehired these guys. Those who were skilled were made part of the construction group. And we even hired people, now 3 times the first workforce we had. So we continue doing that. And until the good news came, September 2020, 6 months after, that we were allowed to reopen. So because of all these activities we had to generate jobs, to improve our place, this was the result. Glamping areas, a nicer garden, camping area, separated regular camping from glamping, and now even a better restaurant. And as for the trekking, we were able to professionalize it too. So we had a guide. For every 5 trekkers would be 1 guide who is responsible for explaining on safety rules and etc., equipping all the trekkers. And we were able to establish 4 trekking areas. A trekking area to a cave, to a peak called Ground Zero, which is believed to be the center of Cebu. Another popular new one, which is a trekking trail going to a waterfalls area. So these are the pictures. So to improve our F&B service, we also hired a very good chef who just happened to live in the area. He used to work in Dubai and came back. And we were so happy that after rehiring him and improving our food menu, we just kept getting good reviews in Facebook for our food. Last but not the least is that a good friend who happens to be a food F&B director and a general manager of different hotels in the Philippines and abroad came back and is now assisting me in helping out and making sure F&B is great and working as a consultant. So with much confidence now because of him, we decided to upgrade the restaurants. So this is how it looks now. So a lot of improvements are there and it's still work in progress for us. And we just continue to work, make improvements, as well as helping the locals and having fun at the same time. So if there's anything that came out positive because of the pandemic, it's the making of Evo Nature Camp.
Thank you, Sir Edwin, for sharing about Evo Camp. I'm looking forward to visiting, sir. It looks very wonderful. So our third panelist is the COO of the Nasan Eco Adventure Camp. Friends, help me welcome Mr. Christian C. Tionco.
Hey everybody, I'm Christian Michael Tionco. I'm the VP of Operation in the Nasan Adventure Park. And our company is being hit during the pandemic. So during the pandemic period, we are really experiencing zero sales and zero entries from our customers. So we are really struggling. And for the most part of 2020, we're just finding ways on how we can keep afloat and still keep our employees and our operation, especially the maintenance and the utilities. One way of our boosting our pandemic is when during the pandemic we were able to boost our Facebook and tap in our local customers. So in that way, we have been really successful in doing that. And we have found out that most of our customers wanted to enjoy up in the mountains, which is also beneficial in our park. And we have also many activities, outdoor activities, which can cater many people. And through that strategy of ours, it can really enlighten more of our customers to go out, especially up in our campsite and all other outdoor activities. So our main objective is just to keep on fighting, and we really tap into the digital world of marketing, and that's one way of overcoming during our pandemic struggle. So in that, our company would like to thank this opportunity to share our thoughts and views. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tionco, for sharing with us about the Nasan Eco Spot. So I'm sure most of you would like to ask our esteemed panelists questions. So we'll now be moving on to our open forum. Earlier we mentioned if you have any questions for the speakers, please maximize the chat box, which can be found at the bottom of your screen. If you have questions for a specific panelist, please include their name in sending your questions. Please make it direct and straight to the point. I believe we have a couple of questions for both our panelists, Mr. Edwin and Mr. Christian. Hello, sir. Kumusta? Oh, sir, sorry, you're on mute pa.
Okay. Hi, Bridget. How are you?
Hi. Hi, Mr. Edwin. Hi, Sir Christian. How are you guys doing?
Hey, perfectly okay here. Very comfortable here in chamber.
Good. Thank you.
Yes, thank you also. So, I've been wanting to visit your places because I've heard so much about, the adventure tourist spots you have there. So hopefully soon I'll get to do that too. All right. So I have a couple of questions for you guys. One is, after all the setback due to the pandemic, which area of tourism do you think will bounce back first? Beach, outdoor adventure, farm tourism, ecological tours, parks, or historical places? May call on Mr. Edwin first, and then Sir Christian afterwards you can answer as well.
Who'd want to answer that?
Yes. So you answer first, Sir Edwin, and then Christian will answer after.
Well, with all those choices, mentioned, the beach, the farm, outdoor places, well, I think it would be better eat all of the above. Those are choices. As long as they follow the advice of Dr. Albert, of course, which is go to open spaces, which is go to uncrowded places, and all that. And I think that's been happening lately. You can see the surge of traffic going through a PCH or Trans Central Highway.
Yeah.
Now even moving into other directions, like I heard of cyclists going to as far as Toledo, no? Campo Siete and all that. well, I can speak for an outdoor place, which is mine, which is Evolution Camp. And that is exactly the kind of place that is being mentioned. And the numbers are quite good. I can speak for my brother's farm. It's called Adlawan Vacation Farm.
Yeah, Trixie is a very good friend of mine. Trixie is the ninang of my son. Yeah.
It's a perfect farm.
Yes, it is.
And, we compare notes with my brother. And, we just kept working on these things for the love of environment, the love to help others. And, in a way, it was blessed because when we talk of numbers, it just continued to get higher. And again, it can be as obvious as all the traffic that goes all the way to Gaas from JY Square on weekends.
Yeah.
And we're quite happy in a way that as Honorable Duterte mentioned, people are discovering the beauty of the province. And that for me, I have kids. I would want them to have this kind of a weekend instead of the usual malling before. No?
Yes, I agree.
So I go, yes, it's the way to go. And wide spaces and outdoors, it's the way to go.
Okay, thank you, Sir Edwin. Sir Christian, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I agree with Edwin with where the tourism is going more outdoors now, especially during they say the new normal. So we have our new normal of tourism as well. So people are venturing outdoors, especially in our resort here. We had an influx of tourism local, and we noticed that more and more people are going and doing the outdoors activities as well. So we're just following the safety protocols as first, and I guess people are more venturing outside, and we're just both the resort as well as the customers are taking advantage of this opportunity in hand that we are able to market. So I guess that's one way of making us prosper to this pandemic. It's the outdoors.
Okay, thank you, Christian. All right, I have one last question for both of you. How do you market sustainable tourism in this pandemic? And you guys are the perfect examples of transitioning, right, from like pre-pandemic to the current situation right now, where people are actually really enjoying your tourism spots. So can you share how you guys market your best practices?
As far as Evo Nature Camp is concerned, yes, being a marketing man myself, we kept on thinking about that. And, times are not normal. And before, when we just used to launch a new restaurant or a new place via newspaper, you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And you raffle gift certificates in the radio stations because they're only up to 6 o'clock. So how we did it first was the help of Facebook page, social media. I'm not a techie guy, but I've learned to do it every day, posting any picture you can get. And when there's a special occasion, like for instance, last weekend was a good Father's Day. So come on, as simple as no entry charge for fathers, giving hats for the first 40, 50 dads, treating them that way. Now, I believe in synergy. And that, as far as Evo Nature Camp is concerned, its location is surrounded by other players. And we kept talking to the LGU about helping each other. So one activity, for instance, that we did was instead of, I had requests about or inquiries of, do you have a zip line? Do you have a ride? No. So we teamed up with Adventure Cafe of a nearby cafe with a zip line, of which I'm also involved. And so we teamed up, like for every glamping, or if you reach a certain amount of 1,500 of meal in Evo Nature Camp, you get a free zip line ride.
Wow.
And so that way it was helping each other. We talked of travel agencies who really are suffering now, and they talked of tours going to different attractions. So much so that I also told the members of the LGU that, I think we have enough coffee shops here, and we have different sort of attractions, so that the tours can bring in different different kinds of tourism products, for these enthusiasts to experiment on weekdays or weekends. So that's how we did it. We thought of synergy. A big help also were the bloggers, since we invited them. And just last week, we invited a blogger with 250,000 followers.
Wow.
Yeah. And we're starting to do that. And so far, so good.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Edwin. Christian, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I would like to add one way of our marketing strategy during this pandemic is really we tap our Facebook users. So that's maybe 85% of our marketing goes to that Facebook marketing ads. It would most of our Cebuanos I'm sure has a Facebook account, and from the young to our age and the seniors. So most of our customers we tap through our Facebook marketing. Ever since before pre-pandemic, that's our main marketing. So since pandemic begins, we double our budget for the Facebook ads. So I guess it's really right now are going in our resort, and then plus the accessibility here is a lot better than before because I don't know if you guys our roadway towards our park are now a little bit bigger and wider because it's I think the DPWH is approved our national road. So before only pickup trucks and big trucks can come in, but now even the as small as the small Vios can go all the way up, even multi-cup. Yeah. I don't know if you guys are, for people who haven't been in our park, it's 2 hours, 2.5 hour drive from the city. So it's a really long drive up. So yeah, that's it. We just tap our marketing through Facebook and of course our customers' testimony also as well.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So,
I'd like to
thank
add
you.
something, Bridget.
Yes, Redwin.
Yeah, another big help we had was the involvement of the Department of Tourism Regional Office. In fact, the director himself, Shalimar, must have gone there 2 or 3 times and to promote our place, in their own Facebook page. He even became our model for our glamping. Another gimmick we're thinking of, just last week, we thought of, since we came up with a new restaurant, which is more comfortable, at R.I.S.E restaurant at that. So we decided to call our whole restaurant area Araucaria Bistro and Cafe. Araucaria, is a kind of pine tree. We have an introductory gimmick of just to promote planting also of trees. So we thought of giving a small Araucaria plant in a pot for every 1,500 peso meal, encouraging people to help the planet by planting. So that's another branding and another nice thing we think of. No? So it's always creative marketing and trying to make it in a nice, positive way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think so. That's what
definitely. Yeah. So maximizing on digital marketing on social media as well as partnering up with the LGU for infrastructure as well. Yes. Right. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Edwin and Mr. Christian, for your sharing and for being part of our panel today.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Okay. So before we conclude this session, I'd like to request everyone to turn on your videos for a virtual photo opportunity with our panelists. Ikaw like count bit.
Sige, miss. Okay, everyone. In 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, another one. In 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so the next part of our program is the raffle. So I'd like to call on Miss Karen Joy Otor to roll the dice for our lucky winners. Miss Karen?
All right, thank you, Ms. Pri. So, Sir Joe, can you show the roulette, please?
Miss Karen, what will be raffling out, Miss Karen?
Wait, let me check with Miss Bell. Miss Bell, how many items are we going to raffle out, Miss Bell?
We still have 3 umbrellas courtesy by Aguila, and for the major prize, it's 1 Cebu Pacific round trip domestic ticket courtesy by Cebu Pacific.
All right, so we will have 3 more for the umbrella and 1 for the major raffle. So let's raffle first for the umbrella, Sir Jov. We need 3 winners. So our first winner is Miss Claire Ann Vicende. So is Miss Claire around?
Ma'am Car.
I think she's here. Yes, Miss Claire is here. So congratulations, Miss Claire. Okay, so for the next winner, still for the umbrella, is Dottie Warbler. Is she around?
Not around, Ma'am Car.
I think she's not here now. So let's have another one, please. All right, Miss Anne Marie Conejero. Is Miss Anne around?
Ma'am Car.
Congratulations, Miss Anne. And one more for the umbrella, please. All right, Miss Melita Ramos. Is Miss Melita around?
Yes, Ma'am Car.
Hi, congratulations, Ma'am Melita. So we now have our 3 winners for the umbrella, and now for our grand prize. So can we roll, please, Sir Joe? Our grand prize winner, Miss Loverville Kino.
She's around.
All right, so congratulations to our winners. No, so we'll be sending you a message, and please send us details so we can send you your prizes. So thank you, and once again, congratulations.
Thank you, and congratulations to all. Oh, thank you, ma'am. All right, congratulations to all our winners. All right, so the next part of our program is the closing remarks. So Department of Tourism, Secretary Honorable Bernadette Romulo Puyat, Department of Tourism, Region 7, Director Shalimar Tamano, Iloan Mayor Honorable Cristina Frasco, Provincial Board Member Honorable Red Duterte, esteemed speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Cebu Business Mobilization 2021 Working Team, I would like to sincerely express my gratitude and appreciation and thank everyone for your meaningful engagement and for making the CBM 2021 Rise Forward Tourism Summit a success. We have come together virtually again to reaffirm our commitment to build back better in a post-COVID era. It was indeed encouraging to see the presence of our exceptional speakers from both the public and private sectors and their collective efforts and commitment. The summit demonstrates clearly that our tourism sector is fully dedicated to engaging all industry stakeholders to lay the groundwork in making viable solutions with oriented strategies towards shaping the tourism industry's recovery. I leave here optimistic on the pathways to bringing back tourism as an important driver of our economic growth. If not, better than it was before. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to all our event partners and sponsors for leveraging on this event. As a final note, we look forward to a continued collaboration with everyone here present. And while I know that we are still a long way before we can bring back the vibrant tourism of Cebu, with our strong partnership, I am confident that together we can rise forward. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day ahead of you.
This is your captain speaking once again. For the last 25 years, we at Cebu Pacific have been enabling everyone to fly. And it has been such an honor to have made a lot of travel moments with you. We have always been known to make the flight experience fun for everyone. And as the skies open once again, let us look back at our 8 shared milestones. What a great day to fly! On March 8, 1996, we made our first maiden voyage from Manila to our hometown Cebu. Then we took off for our first international flight, Manila to Hong Kong on November 22, 2001. Those were great times. Philippines, meet Piso Fair. March 2004, we pioneered the first ever piso sale in the market. These piso sales really made air travel more accessible for everyone. To connect more people across the archipelago, through September 2007 to 2016, we invested in high-capacity ATR turboprop aircrafts to serve islands that can only be reached by smaller planes. In 2013, we received our first and biggest aircraft, the Airbus A330, and sent it to our first long-haul flight from Manila to Dubai. Baby Haven came into this world via 5J015 Dubai to Manila, the first Seb baby born in flight. On our 20th year, we welcomed major changes, our new home, our new uniforms, and a brand new look in the skies. We even partnered with UNICEF for its Change for Good program. And last 2017, we flew our first 150 millionth passenger. Throughout our 25 years, we have celebrated countless wonderful moments with you, our dear passengers. I, your captain, together with Cebu Pacific family, can't wait to bring you back to the beautiful destinations you have missed. We're looking forward to more smiles ahead as everyone flies again.
The lines that connect us have never been this important. From the simple things that give us joy and hope to the ones we have to accomplish. There is a need to be connected to the things we do and to the people around us. The lack of a future-ready connection is what created us. From a startup in Central Luzon to what we are now, our purpose remains the same: to make everyone's online experience better. From businesses to public institutions to your homes and the entire country, we believe that digitalizing the Philippines empowers the people. We work hard to power micro, small, medium, and large-scale businesses to allow them to maximize their productivity with the latest broadband technology that fits their needs, to better connect them to their audiences and customers. Because we know the value of what education brings to every Filipino. Together with the Department of Education and local governments, we are connecting schools to teachers and teachers to all their students, providing reliable and fast internet. This helps build the future of the youth and the nation. Converge is empowering every Filipino household as the home becomes the school, the workplace, and the marketplace in one. With its pure fiber connection, Converge offers speed, stability, and reliability to meet the evolving needs of its residential customers, providing the best experience for their work from home, online classes, news and information needs, to seamless entertainment consumption, such as social media, movie streaming, music, sports, and gaming. Our customers' experience is at the forefront of our success. Going beyond their connectivity, we lead the way in product innovation, customer response, digital infrastructure, and network improvements. Because more than the connection, we empower. We empower you, the businesses that fill your needs, and the country's. We are focused in providing all our customers the best of what the internet has to offer, with true high-speed, pure end-to-end fiber connectivity. And we are making it available to every Filipino. Breaking into an already established industry, it is the passion of our people to bring fresh innovations to Filipinos that sets us apart. The Philippines' need for better internet is evident by our exponential and unrivaled growth, boosting us to have one of the biggest IPOs in the country and transforming us into a world-class broadband provider with the Filipino consumer in mind. With our unparalleled growth, we set our sights on interconnecting the entire country, now linking Visayas and Mindanao to our domestic fiber backbone. To connect the unserved and underserved areas in the country, this lives in the fiber of how Converge came to be. Knowing how essential connectivity is today and in the future, we're not just making stable connections available to more Filipinos. We are giving them the lifeline they need and deserve. Now, the way we connect has never been this powerful. With everything we do in our lives, the world is becoming more and more connected. Converge provides more than just fiber internet. We give the lifeline for a future-ready nation.
It starts with a cause, a purpose, a dream. To do more. To be more. In the face of adversity, do we break down? Or should we break through? Should we be different? Or strive to make a difference? We rock. We have the power to create a better world, one step at a time. This is our revolution. I'm Juan Miguel Javier, an IT director, a farmer, and a rock star by heart. I am unbreakable.
Here's a warm hello from Eastern Communications. We're here to present a refreshing point of view that when it comes to delivering business communication solutions, it's time to bring back the human connection. As we do all we can to offer technology that is always solid and reliable, we never lose sight of our brand of personalized customer service. It's a connection that is both high-tech and high-touch. That's our strong connection. We are Eastern Communications.
We
are an organization intensive in youth, in desires, and in a commitment to take great steps to live the values that unite us. We are a company that listens to a mission and has decided to respond daily to the call. We are Qualphone, establishing a welcoming and respectful workplace that affirms the dignity of each person, fostering the spirituality and unique contributions of each individual through our Mission at Work programs. Communication at Work promotes an open communication based on respect, mutual trust, and the understanding of the mission, values, and plans of Qualphone. Learn at Work. Support employees through career development classes. Care at Work. Support an environment where the person trusts and support each other in a caring second family manner. But making people's lives better goes beyond employees. It also refers to employees' families and our communications through our Give at Work program. We support charities and establishments that provide assistance to the underprivileged. And Fun at Work, to keep our employees engaged through fun activities. Our mission is our call, and we share it with you so that our Strides values will be an explicit, concrete, and visible commitment to serve and love others. In order to be the best BPO, we make people's lives better.
At Vivant, we embrace change because we know that to succeed, we need to be a strong partner. A partner who takes the time to listen and provide solutions that benefit everyone. Vivant's growth throughout the energy sector is a testament to our strategic relationship and our ability to adapt to a changing world. As we expand beyond power, our business model of foresight, cooperation, and adaptability will always push us forward. Vivant, solutions for a changing world.
Chasing what makes me feel alive to making my way into the world. I am ready to make great strides towards my goal.
From juggling a busy life to choosing one that brings me joy. I am ready to go with what's best for me.
From realizing my potential to going after bigger investments.
I am ready to secure my future.
Ako si Arnold Asis, ang may-ari ng Arnet Agrimarts. At ito ang diskarte ko. One-stop shop kami for all gardening and farming needs. Nagbebenta kami ng pots, fertilizers, seeds, and greenhouse materials. Actually, before Lazada, I have to travel a lot to meet distributor kasi kailangan mo silang puntahan para makabenta ka. So, malimit, malayo ako sa pamilya ko. And kailangan talaga doble-doble yung effort mo para makabenta ka lang. Actually, hindi rin naman ako techie so wala rin ako masyadong alam sa online. And yun yung maganda kay Lazada kasi marami siyang tools. Nandyan yung Lazada University para lahat ng kailangan mong malaman, madali mong matututunan. And nandyan din yung community of sellers na very much willing tumulong lalo na sa mga bagong sellers. Hindi lang basta nakabawi yung business namin, mas lumaki pa siya ngayon. At kahit mas malaki siya ngayon, mas magaan yung trabaho namin kasi online na lahat. Huwag kayong matakot matuto at sumubok ng bago kasi andyan naman sa Lazada lahat ng kailangan nyo para mag-succeed ang business nyo. Lahat naman siguro tayo nakakapa sa sitwasyon natin ngayon. Pero sa halip na tingnan natin ito bilang problema, maganda siguro, tingnan natin bilang opportunity
pang mag-adapt at mag-evolve sa pagpapalaganap ng e-commerce sa Pilipinas. Kasi kung kaya ko, kaya niyo rin.
Lazada.